live stream in this format before, so I'll just start it, and then Daisy can join probably in the next couple minutes. And I can throw this out there and see what you little angels are up to. Friday. Happy Friday, guys. Happy Friday. So hello, Tinkerbell Happy. This is gonna be weird. I can't highlight any chats. I should probably make sure I have. Yeah, that's weird. It's top chat and live chat now. Post. It used to be top chat and all messages. I swear to God, like yesterday, the day before. But that's okay. I can see messages all over the place. All over the place. It is 1 minute for 9, 6 a.m. So, yeah, if you guys have any questions, I think Daisy said she was like, the haters can ask me questions. And yeah, we can take it from there. I have some questions. Um, yeah, what are you guys up to on this Friday morning? Hello, Raisin. Hello, Randy. Hello, Lovely Bones. What else is there to tell you? I don't know. It's early for me. I don't know what else there is to tell you. You want to see this guy? I'm showing you guys this guy in a while. Oh, did it work? I think it worked. Daisy. Oh,
Steve,
not much. What's up?
good to see you, superhero.
Yeah, good to see you guys. How have you been?
I woke up at 2 a.m. I've had a full morning. How about you?
I'm just getting up like a half hour ago. You wake up at 2 a.m.?
3.
At 3?
I wake up at 2 or 3 in the morning. I go to bed anywhere. Last night was a late night. I stayed up till 8 o'clock. Typically, I'm asleep by around 6:30. That's like my bedtime.
Crazy. Are you? And that's at Big Ben's place, or are you at the new place?
My place is a couple blocks from Big Ben, and I wouldn't be able to live stream there.
Okay.
Yeah. So I come here to use his Wi-Fi and to use his bath, and whatever my place doesn't have, I will just go to other places in the community.
Makes sense. Do you like
Big
the
Ben.
new place though?
Big Ben is at 5th, and I'm at 2nd. And I'm at Santa Monica, and he's at Broadway. So we're like, Santa Monica and Broadway are 1 block from each other. And obviously 2nd and 5th are, you could do the math.
Right.
So we're like blocks away. So I'll go, we call my place the dojo, and we call his place the love nest.
Okay. Okay. Well, I think that's good though, because then you guys can have like your space if you need it, and like you're not really like trapped.
We don't see each other that much.
No, I heard he's a space ranger. Is he up in like space a lot?
With the Galactic Federation, there's like a federation of aliens. I know, right? Isn't that weird? Turns out I've been learning a lot since I've started to date King Big Ben. The US government, for the past 5 or 6 months, has Congress, basically our own government, is begging itself. Congress is begging parts of our government to please disclose the alien stuff. So they've been disclosing, and you could go on YouTube, you could see video of a gray alien named J-Rod, and it's like the disclosure is out, so no one's saying like J-Rod is not if that the video is fake. And there's different kinds of aliens. There's insectoid aliens that are humanoid, then there's these Pleiadian aliens, and some of us are actually aliens who decided to reincarnate, and they're like, like the movie Avatar, how the humans go into an avatar body. Yeah, yeah. So basically, like, apparently the aliens are able to be born as a human. So some of them are volunteering to come, and the aliens are here to assist us in our awakening. And you can go online, it's all out there. Like, our government is slowly disclosing this information, but they can't disclose too much because they say that they need the information and technology for weapons development, and that they cannot disclose all of it because then other countries that we are at war with will fight us. And I found out that we're at war and the whole world's at war. I didn't know America was at war. I guess that's kind of stupid to say I didn't know we were at war, but it seems pretty peaceful in our country. It doesn't seem like we're at war, but that's because the war is in other countries, but Americans are there. So basically, I found out the whole war is at war. And then I also found out another disturbing thing. Big Ben's been educating me a lot. There's these forever chemicals, and they accumulate in all of our bodies. And you know, Teflon pans by the company DuPont. So Teflon is in every single organism. Everyone have dangerous levels. We don't even know. That's just one of the three companies. There's three companies that you can fingerprint these chemicals to. So you know, you guys know about my whole global liberation thing. I don't got to tell you, but what's cool is Ben lives in a completely different world. He would live works for the government. I don't even believe in work or market economy. And it's really cool to see the whole other world. Like, I'm learning a lot about our government, learning a lot about how our government is run. And you guys know I'm working on myself a lot. I mean, I think it shows I'm working on myself a lot.
Can you still hear me, Daisy?
Mhm. Yeah.
Can, can you guys? Everyone's saying I'm frozen.
No, you're not.
Okay, yeah, you can't. You can hear me. Can they hear? Can you guys hear me in the chat? Um,
No, we just start over.
I'm back. I don't think I was ever gone. I was just listening to Daisy telling me about Big Ben and the aliens and stuff. So Big Ben has been telling you all that, and like the tech. Because I did see a Netflix documentary about the Teflon. I think it's called like The Devil We Know or something. And yeah, those like that doesn't leave your body. That's like
I didn't know that, but basically it's it's making me realize, like, none of this would be happening. Think about it. If it weren't for money, we would never be hurting our planet like that. We would find another way. Teflon started off as a military substance, and then they wouldn't release it to the public for a long time. In like the 1940s, I think they were using it in the war, and then they released it in the 1960s, and they knew it was toxic and lied. So we all know this. No one would ever lie unless there's money. If you're getting paid, you're going to lie. But if no one is getting paid, no one is going to lie.
these lie to each other in the rainforest. Can't remember what they were lying about, but basically, like they'll be hunt or scavenging, I guess, for I don't know eggs or something, and then one monkey will like find an egg, and then he'll lie to the rest of the monkeys and be like, "I didn't find anything," and then he'll keep the egg for himself, and then they'll find out and they'll beat the monkey up. So like other species lie. Like I think
I do, but why did that monkey lie about that egg? Because of scarcity. Domination systems create scarcity. If we live in a world of abundance, we're less likely to lie. Another reason people lie, so when I was a little kid, maybe you guys can relate to this. I used to lie because I was afraid of my parents, and I was afraid of my caregivers' reactions, whether it was even my teachers. So I would lie. And domination systems, government, rules, laws, control make us lie, and money makes us lie. Because with government and with rules and laws, you could get in trouble. And monkeys wouldn't be beating each other up if we didn't live in a world of scarcity, because we don't we don't learn as well through violence. You could learn through violence, but we learn much better through love and compassion. So if the monkeys saw that he took the egg and they were sad and they, felt bad about it, I bet that monkey would have shared the egg. But if they beat him up, his reason for revealing his treasure next time is going to be out of fear of punishment instead of a longing to contribute to the well being of everyone else. He's just going to be afraid of them beating him up. It's not going to be because he cares. But if they are like, hey, that delicious egg was hidden, were you planning on not sharing it? And then we just kind of sit in that space of like, oh, that's sad. Like that impacts the rest of us because we want to share in the nutrients and we feel a little betrayed because we want more trust and truth and transparency. We want to know when there's resources and we wouldn't have to lie. Our government's a good example. We wouldn't have to lie. Like that monkey wouldn't have lied about the egg if they weren't beating him up, but they've got a culture with the monkeys and beating each other up. Don't you agree with that?
What about like just sociopaths who like have it good in life and they don't have an incentive to lie because like they're born into a rich family and stuff, but they're just crazy.
Love that you say that. I was just thinking about that, how we pick a label and we're like, they're a sociopath. And when we do that, we forget some
Some.
varying degrees carry the vibration sociopath. It's in all of our consciousness. And the fact that we can witness it means that we have it. So sociopath, maybe it's like 0.01% in this person and 99% in this person. All this is what my brain was doing earlier. I was thinking like if somebody says, this is what my brain did. It goes, Daisy, if somebody says, "Oh, I just listen and watch and I don't say anything." You know how people will say that and they'll I was like thinking to myself about people who will say like, "Oh, I don't say nothing. I just watch them." And then they'll kind of make a decision without that person like, "Oh, I can't trust this person. I've been watching them." So I was thinking about and people who are like, "I don't say nothing. I just watch them."
Can I like an example like in real life or like
Example, King Big Ben. He told me he told me, "Oh, I don't pay attention to what people say. I just watch their actions. I don't say nothing. I just watch them and then when I see what they do, then I respond." And when I heard that, and I've heard other people say it, then what they're basically saying is, I don't let people know when they're impacting me in a negative way. I allow them to do it without telling them. And then later, I make a decision without them based off of their actions that I didn't tell them about. And then I enemy image them and tell myself a story that then enables me to disconnect and not talk to them anymore. So I was thinking about like a person who says this, and I was like, oh, yeah, my brain goes, oh, yeah, that's a disorganized, oh, no, that's a dismissive and avoidant attachment style. That's what my brain said. And it started to label that. And then I remembered we all have dismissive and avoidant. And as soon as I thought about it, and I was like, in what way do I do that also? Like I'm othering Big Ben and saying he does this thing and he's dismissive avoidant. Well, how do I do that? And I thought about it. I was like, yeah, I guess there are situations where I will dismiss it and avoid and ignore and not acknowledge and say what will help and allow it to carry on and then make a decision to disconnect. And if I'm attracting people who are doing it, chances are I'm doing it too in some way. I just can't see that I'm doing it because I'm doing it in a different way. Do you see what I'm saying now?
do you think he means more like actions speak
Okay, let me give you another example. Goddess Diana, queen of everything, and Cleveland housewife, goddess of animals, cute, and gardens. And I will never say anything bad about them. I love my girlfriends.
I
They
heard you guys
they
had a
did
falling out, you and Cleveland.
Yeah, I'm gonna talk about the falling out. So they did something to me that was so painful, and I was like, well, how do I do that to others? And I was able to see in myself because both of them, Goddess Diana reached out to my friend, Deanna Leggett, the dancer. I go to her dance classes. So Goddess Diana reached out to her and was like, "Oh no, 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 like Daisy this and Daisy that, and oh here's a bunch of negative evaluations and enemy images, and she's bad, and be careful." And my friend called me very upset, and Deanna's like, "Yeah, Goddess Diana." And I said, "Well, do you see why I needed to take space?" And she's like, "Yeah." I was like, "Yeah, because it's verbally abusive." I was like, "Did that impact you in the same way it was impacting me? Did you feel like it was really abusive?" She was like, "Yeah, I did." And I was like, "Well, you'll never hear me say anything bad, because if I'm attracting people who are doing it, I'm doing it too." And I told my friend Deanna, like, um about 6 months ago, when Cross and I were breaking up, his girl
Across. How
Cross,
he's still
he's like
around?
the guitar player, skater guy I was with. Yeah. So Cross's woman texted me, Georgia, and I verbally assaulted her and Cross. And I suffered the next day. I was like suffering. I like got sick because I was like all of that like anger, ugh. And I made amends the next day, and I felt healthy shame. I cried. I've not verbally assaulted anyone since then. I know it's inside of me. I know it's something I'm working with. So when my friends, Goddess Diana and Cleveland Housewife, shred me and attack me, then I can say, "Yes, goddesses, this was done to me also, and I do it to people I love." I don't do it to my girlfriends because they don't trigger me like that. But kings of mine, men, a lot of times that will be my trigger. So I'm not gonna enemy image Goddess Diana and Cleveland Housewife, because I do it too. I'm gonna look at myself, try to heal it in myself, and then I'm not gonna attract it in others. So even if I'm friends with Cleveland Housewife and Goddess Diana, because I've changed, they're going to show up differently too. What do you think about that?
Hopefully, what happened with Diana? Like, I didn't even know you guys had a falling out. I just thought she was kind of like taking a backseat to come.
I love Goddess Diana so much. We're like twins in a lot of ways. She reminds me of myself and my personality before I did a lot of work on myself. And when I had a different mentality, she reminds me. And I used to be cynical and abrasive, and I used to kind of be like her personality. And she and I have a similar background, and we love each other. However, I was feeling drained, because I believe a healthy relationship, you have to have three things: positivity, which means we give each other unconditional love and unconditional belonging. So if you make a mistake, we are curious and loving and caring. We don't blame and shame and turn on each other. So that's the first, is positivity. Next is a learning and growth mindset. And then the third thing is we create together. And I noticed with Goddess Diana, I was not getting positivity, and I was not creating with her, and there didn't seem to be a learning and growth mindset. And I would talk to her, and it would be the same things and the same pattern. I'm always working on myself. I'm trying to do better. And I like to acknowledge my mistakes and be creative. I don't like to create triangles and gossip and enemy image. I don't like to listen to negativity. And that was not, yeah, like when people gossip and they're trying to like get you to not like this person. Trying to like, so when you create a triangle, it would be like I go over to this person. I'm like, "Oh yeah, Stevie, sweetie, yeah, here's some negative evaluations about him. Let's not like him." And that's like creating.
Angle or like the food groups?
But it's a term that my psychologist Yvette Erasmus uses, and I don't know how she gets that term, but she's a psychologist on the internet that I work with. She has a free group on Wednesdays I go to too. So
Speaking of that, like you have a, I don't know if it's a therapist, something for mental health court.
yeah, I've got a lot. I've got doctors, therapists, caseworkers. I'm about to start EMDR. I work with a life skills worker, and I tell them everything from like help me get on disability so I don't have to steal anymore to help me be able to like, I have outbursts because I have PTSD. So like help me with these out when I'm in like so much pain, like how can I discharge it? How can I do it better? So I'm doing a lot of work. Like remember that video that went viral at the police station? I'm in a Daisy Spidey outfit.
Yeah, I seen it on
Like
Twitter. I was like, that's Daisy.
see, yeah, so like I got arrested the day before and it was really traumatizing.
Any Manson
And
arrest?
yeah, they arrested me because Starbucks lied on me. So that was,
Skateboard around.
yeah, but that's not okay to lock someone up for 3 years for flipping their skateboard.
Like at them, right? Like in a
Mm,
threatening.
no, in fact, she told me to chill out, and I go, I'm just playing. It's not threatening at all.
Okay, but like you know how the
If
Joker
we
will
if
have
we
like a knife
punish,
and he's like, "Ah, ha, ha, I'm just playing." Like they could have seen you as a
so let's go with that. Let's say there's a person and they're flipping something in the air and being a threat. Let's say it's a sword, and because the sword is more threatening than a skateboard. So if we take that person and we're like, that's so dangerous, and then we take them somewhere where their needs don't get met and they have empty time and violence. Or if we take them somewhere with accompaniment, resources, empathy, someone to give them understanding, help them make sense. Because first, we have to meet people where they are. And if someone's reality is, no, like maybe they even wanted to stab the Starbucks person. I like to flip swords. And I was just gonna do a little poke. Like you just stab them a half an inch. It doesn't hurt that bad. I just wanted, and then so we gotta meet them where they're at and be like, Stevie, sweetie, like please, like why do you like to stab a little? If I keep going the layers, we're gonna start to get to the real Stevie, sweetie, and you're gonna say things like, well, when I was little, I was told that I didn't matter, and I had cigarettes put out on me, and I had this, and I had that. You could shake your head no, but I guarantee you, if you talk to anybody who's violent, that you can find violence in their past. If you talk to anyone who exploits, humiliates, does whatever type of harm, you could find something in their past. And this is why we don't do anything unless we were shown it, and we're mimickers. And I can prove it to you because the words we speak, unless I'm speaking gibberish to you, I've heard every single word that I speak before. So that means someone said it before me. So if someone said it before me, if someone did it before me, then why are we getting mad at the being when we should be just reprogramming them because someone did it before them? So what that means is the person with the swords, if we're curious and we're like, when we start to get under it, where it's like, oh, so it makes you feel good because you were hurt when you hurt others, you feel powerful. How else do you feel? You're able to release pain because when they feel pain, it helps you release pain. And then when that's like their stage one. So you have to meet people there. When people listen to what they're doing, they're able to like all of us are able to get it. Like, oh, maybe I shouldn't poke people with the sword. Like that's not very life affirming. That's not going to get me the connection and trust and understanding that I need. It's not going to have my needs be acknowledged. Now everyone's just going to worry about my sword. So if we work with the person, so okay, so what I'm trying to say is mental health court, instead of responding to me with punishment, they're saying, Daisy, we're going to work with you. And don't worry, we got your back. You're going to therapy 3 days a week. My therapist said I can't film her anymore.
Did she know she was being filmed? Like at the start of it?
Sure. And she said no.
Oh, well, that's not good.
But I believe in truth and transparency. And I just took that as she doesn't want to be filmed, but I could film me.
Oh, because yeah, I mean, like, but she didn't know her voice is being recorded, right? Like, it's a
I
gray area.
believe in a world. I don't believe in secrets because in truth, there is a field of intelligence that we are all vibrating together, entangled in. Therefore, we can all tap into this. I call it the hive intelligence. Indian people call it the Akashic record. And we know about remote viewing and telepathy and psychic. And that is our normal way of being. And if we were not living lies, I lost your picture. And if we were not programmed to have secrets, then we wouldn't be acting this way. I'm losing my concentration because I can't see you. There you are.
I don't know what happened there. Before I just want to say like one thing. I don't. I think like the lesson on the Starbucks thing, because Starbucks is a private business, right? They could ask anybody to leave technically.
Okay, well, here's what was so annoying. I was sitting there with Minnie Manson, who's like this gothic transgender person. And there's high school kids. King Big Ben was there in his military outfit, sitting with all.
Oh, no, her picture went
Nobody.
away. Oh,
I know for a fact that nobody complained. So part of me felt like this Starbucks employee was targeting us because we were talking about like Donald Trump and stuff. And then it's a transgender gothic person. And then the manager comes over. It was just too like suspect. And also the way that she approached us, it wasn't like, hey, I know that you guys want to enjoy yourselves and this is a space where you can do that. However, could you please lower your volume so that others can enjoy it too? It wasn't like that. It was like, hey, if you guys don't be quiet, then I'm gonna have to ask you to leave. And when you threaten me and you say, hey, you're gonna get kicked out, then now you're telling me either I can rebel or I have to submit to you. So what I told her was like, hey, you're giving me two options because you're demanding me and you're threatening me. And really, you just have to ask me. And then she starts calling me ma'am. And that triggered me because I felt like I just felt like it was really impersonal and I'm not ma'am. Like I just didn't feel like she was honoring me and I was honoring her. I was calling her goddess. So that's why I was flipping my skateboard because I was trying to discharge. I was just feeling a lot of explosive emotions. So I wanted it to explode through the shred sled in a cool move. So I flipped it and it was very delightful to everyone except the goddess was worried that it looked too cool. So she was like, calm down. And I was like, I'm playing. And then we left. And then we finished our interview. And as soon as we finished our interview, we left. And there was like nothing after that. Like they didn't have to escalate, but instead they chose to lie and send a helicopter and 10 police cars with two or three officers each and all of their guns drawn. And they handcuffed me and Big Ben. And Big Ben is over 6'5". He's like 6'5" and a half. And he's 250 pounds. He's huge, like huge muscular guy. So you're supposed to double cuff guys like that. So his wrists were both bleeding when they unhandcuffed him. And they had me, I'm not done yet. They had me stand at the side of the road for an hour handcuffed while they drove two Starbucks employees in two cop cars to come and point me out and identify me and say, yep, she attacked us with the skateboard. And they said that I went after them, tried to attack them, hit them, swung my skateboard at them. And I was getting charged with assault with a deadly weapon and I was facing 3 years in prison as a convicted felon. I was going to lose everything because they wanted to lie. And
have any marks on them?
that is not fair. Yeah, two employees thought that it was okay to do this. And instead of releasing me and looking at the video, where, because my partner was like, we have it on video, like, no one would look at the video. They sent me to the police station. Now I'm locked up at the police station. As soon as I get there, they're like, Daisy? Because it's the station I've been speaking at for years. They're like, Daisy's here. So now all of a sudden they want to talk to me. So now now the master sergeant or whoever is in charge of the office, this woman comes and she loves me. And then the guy who I'm yelling at in the video, he's there too. He's one of my buddies. You could tell he and I go way back. He's bought me a skateboard once. Him and all the officers there put their money together, bought me a really nice skateboard.
You had the deadly weapon.
That skateboard got, it was like a long time ago they did it, but that was the police station. They bought me the skateboard. So now all of a sudden I have all this pull because they know who I am and they like me and they bought me a skateboard. They're like, Daisy, and they know I'm not dangerous. They're like, Daisy doesn't attack people with her board. They know I throw my board up and they know. So that was like a gift because I'm in this police station where they know me, but they're sending someone to transport me to Van Nuys an hour and a half away to a women's jail. So I'm sitting in that jail cell waiting to get transported to the women's to the prison for long term to wait for trial. And finally they look at the video. And as soon as they look at the video, they were like, we're so sorry. And they released me. And I was so shaken up. And I'm like, can I get a police report or like any piece of paper or anything like talking about what just happened to me? And they're like, no. And I was like starting to lose my shit. And Big Ben's like, come on, let's get out of here. And
Crazy response. Like I understand. Remember when John got shot with the beanbag because of the whatever. I don't know. John likes to say nowadays that it wasn't a gun ever. But anyways, they thought it was a gun. We'll say it was a
I
case.
love missile launcher.
It was a love missile launcher, right? I
It was a
understand like
gun, it
that
was a
kind of
rifle.
response for that because that's like an actual weapon. But a skateboard,
Week in jail for that.
yeah, I remember that. That was pretty crazy.
Good and I was in jail cell number 7 and he was in number 10.
Yeah, you told him to go home so he could get you out of jail, and he wanted to stay in there to support you. And I was like, "What? That doesn't make any sense, John."
He was trying to stay and they were like letting him out and I was like, "No, go." Because he felt bad that I had no bail. The judge, because I've been arrested before and I always get bailed out. And this time there was no bail for Daisy.
Crazy. That's also crazy because when he got out, he said that there was a bail, and he was like, "We gotta do a GoFundMe for the bail." Um,
Lawyer. We had a GoFundMe. The GoFundMe raised $1,000 and that went to my lawyer, Jeff Rubenstein.
okay,
And that's not, which is not enough to help, but he helped me. He got me off the gun charge, and then there was the bomb threat, the love bomb threat, and
I remember that.
that was on a video.
And then there was, I think it was last night. I was trying to think. So those were the three times you were.
I got arrested for going to my mom's house.
Yeah, well, I don't think I was following you then, but I have seen the video because Allison took you there. Do you know Allison has a video out that is like, "What was Daisy thinking?" And it has like a little montage of you getting arrested. It's like you drove her there. What do you mean? What was she thinking? Like, what the fuck were you thinking? I don't know. I saw that the other day, and I was like, "What the fuck?" Um, crazy Alice. Do you ever talk to Allison still?
uh, I am not. I'm like being really careful with my energy on the internet because of what happened with Goddess Diana and Cleveland Housewife. So I'm offering a space for people on Wednesdays and Saturdays from 11:11 to 1:11 if they want to come and see me in Venice, and I call it a healing circle, and they can do, you know, how my communication and flow strokes and like sharing, so basically, you know, like the stuff I do. And I decided that the women who want to get to know me, like I don't want to just chit chat anymore. It was fun live streaming with Goddess Jennifer Nana, but I don't want that anymore. I want women who like want to go to my healing circles. So I'm going to have a Zoom link for that. And I was going to do maybe like one a week. So every week people can come on and connect with me. what I've been doing is like this morning, I live streamed on TikTok for an hour. And typically I'll go on TikTok and I'll try to keep the live stream under an hour, and I'll do a healing circle. And today I was helping a woman with getting ghosted by her partner and giving her acknowledgement for like alarmed aloneness and empathy and needs gases. And then I was helping someone else with panic attacks and letting them know my experience and what I do to help myself with panic attacks. And it's also the same technique I use with people who do self harm, because I work with people at the beach. There was this transgender woman named Goddess Athena, and she used to smash her face in the concrete and hit herself. So I use the same technique with her as I do with panic attacks. So panic attacks, you could tell yourself scary things. When you're hitting yourself, same thing. You're like talking to yourself in a way that's not supportive. So I was like, just give yourself affection and talk to your organs. And so I was just, and I don't claim to be a healer because I always start the healing circle sharing my struggles and
It's in your
asking for,
name, though. Daisy.
I'll, so I'll explain it. I don't claim to be a healer because if you go to the 12 steps, the person who's been there the longest is there not to be the master, the leader. They're there for their own healing. So when I say I'm Daisy the Venice healer, I'm healing myself, and everyone else is my teacher and master, and I'm going to get wisdom and support and be empowered to be able to heal myself. Just as I can give support and care and empower others to heal themselves. However, each of us has the wisdom, and I don't claim to have the wisdom for anyone or to be a healer. So when I talk about getting ghosted or panic attacks, I think all of us know what it's like to be ghosted or have a panic attack. And any of us can give healing and support and empathy and be a friend. So that's what I do. Not claiming to be a master, but just sharing, like, and whatever people like, they could pick up. Just like if I listen to you, sometimes you're going to say something and I may change in response to witnessing you. Absolutely. I do learn from everyone. And I do learn from you, Steve. We do learn from each other.
There's like times where I'm like, yeah. There's like at times where I agree. I don't know if you know who Brooke is, but I agree with Brooke sometimes, which is crazy because she's a crazy person. Um, I forgot to ask this when we were talking about. Are you still planning on suing Starbucks? And I heard you saying that you were going to sue a bunch of people the other day.
Everyone, and I'm not going to touch a penny of it. It's all going to go it's all going to go to my nonprofit. I'm going to be suing right now I have 4 lawsuits, and it's soon to be like,
You're like, you're the plaintiff.
yeah, my attorney is pretty famous, and he was OJ Simpson's lawyer. He's like a lot of A-list names. And
Topper Steve.
yep, Grasshopper
Is
Steve there
Grasshopper
now.
Steve?
Oh yeah.
Oh man.
So, yeah, he's like best of the best. So, and he does like billion-dollar cases and stuff. So this is small for him, but he's happy to help out. I've known him for 15 years. And
5 or 4?
right now we have 4 cases. So I'm suing Starbucks for what happened. I'm suing the West LA police for their part in it. I'm suing Santa Monica police for I have them on video assaulting me, and for a bunch of other stuff. Mhm. I lost your camera feed. And I'm also suing the Orange County Sheriff's Department.
Which county to do? I guess was it Santa Monica?
Bomb threat.
You made the bomb.
I don't care because the woman on the phone hung up on me, and she knew I was kidding, and that was a malicious thing that she did, and I called back and told them I was on the way to the courthouse. Any one of those people could have said something to me and been like, "Are you really gonna love bomb and put a biodiversified food forest?" Like that was like malicious, and they took my phones and put them in evidence and traumatized me. And we live in a world where dominate.
Guys,
Let me tell you my intention then, Steve. I'm a wrench. I'm a wrench, and I've been caught up in the system. And I'm a wrench caught up in the system for a reason because I'm going to break it. And I'm going to court on Wednesday, and
that might be
Santa Monica police, Huntington police, and Torrance police have a case against me, which means my mother and my sister is Torrance Beach and Santa Monica. So my own family's using the courts. And I'm happy because I'm in mental health court and they agree with everything I say. And I'm going to tell them, I don't consent. Get out of my life. You guys are destroying my family. We need rift resolution. We don't need investigators to make us turn on each other. We need to collaborate to meet needs for my children and learn to co-parent, and parental alienation hurts my children the most. And I don't consent. I'm not available. You can't have a piece of paper and say my rights are terminated. It's not real. The restraining orders are not real. And I have a whole team that's going to court with me on Wednesday. My doctor's on board. Steve Aronoff's going to be there. My therapist is going to be there. My caseworker is going to be there. And my advocate's going to be there. And my life skills person is going to be there. So I have my whole support team, and everyone is going to say, domination systems hurt us. We need to dissolve them and replace them with needs-based fellowship. And we've already done this with big business and government before. Drunkardness was big business and government because there were social workers, police, prisons, and asylums was the business part because it was big business with asylums, just as in families adoption is big business, foster homes are big business, and then we have government in our families too, the same thing, judges, enforcers in jails, and forced programs. And instead of forced, so now our government has acknowledged and recognizes that 12 steps are working, and no longer is the term drunkard even a term, because drunkard was a term for someone who's going to forever be labeled that way because they believe there was no cure. Now that's not even a term because we just send those people to 12 steps for recovery. So we replace government and big business this same way. So that is what I'm doing. I am a wrench in the system, and I'm going to go fighting. And I use love bombs and turbo Care Bear stares and empathy grenades and love missile launchers. And love is so powerful, as it turns out. I told the judge in mental health court, I was like, "You're a superhero. You're not a judge. You don't even like judging me. You just want to relate to me like a subjectivity." And he smiled and he said, "I'm not a superhero, but thank you." And I said, "Yes, you really are a superhero." And there was a little silence. And then all of a sudden his eyes sparkled and he said, "Thank you." I could tell he knows he's a superhero. We just got to be reminded.
that's
Very exciting. We're not going to have court anymore, at least in Los Angeles. And then we're going to liberate the whole planet. And the Venice Beach needed to have someone like me, Playboy Jesus, call me whatever you want, Daisy the Venice Healer. I am the one. I am a wrench. And I'm a wrench that can go, and I can go in the middle of the sanitation workers and the cops and be like, "A doop a doodle doo. You guys are all getting transported to the tickle torture temple. You're coming with me." And they'll come back 2 or 3 times to get kidnapped again. I told them you only get kidnapped once a day. So this means if our government workers, if I could just kidnap them and disrupt their work and disrupt the courts, it means that we really are evolving to higher consciousness, that compassion and care for all of life and meeting universal needs will in fact replace merit-based systems which only serve special interests, because every time we spend a dollar, and that includes in our government or in systems that create tremendous suffering in families like foster homes and stuff, that every dollar spent goes into the bank accounts of special interests and rich people. And we all know that this hurts us.
we're suing
Have you read my book, by the
Starbucks.
way?
I've skimmed through the Liberation book, right?
Did I send you it? I sent you it. I texted you.
Seen it. I've seen it on Amazon. You can text me it. So we're doing Starbucks. Uh,
Amazon one is the unedited though. That's not my book. The edited one.
you can send me it. What are we suing Santa Monica for? Like Santa Monica PD for?
I was at the station and there's this police officer who's arrested me 2 or 3 times. And sometimes he's cool, and other times he is not on Team Daisy. And he was not on Team Daisy that day.
What was this? Was that the clip that went viral, or
It was a couple it was like a couple days, or it was like a week ago or 2 weeks ago. And I was at Santa Monica Police Station and I did a love tornado. And in the middle of my love tornado, he grabs my arm. And I was like, oh, hell no. He put his hands on me right on video. And then when I told him it was on video, he got really pissed and he'll like arrest me just because he's pissed. He's done it before. So I was like backing up and it's on my TikTok. And I'm pretty sure I posted it too on YouTube. So yeah, I'm gonna sue Santa Monica. Santa Monica police, they a little too happy slappy with the metal bracelets, you know what I'm saying? And they're pretty pushy. So I'm pretty sure that the reason they showed up at my court date is they don't like my new loudspeaker. And yeah, it goes 1,200 feet. It's louder than the ones the cops have. So I've been waking everyone up in Santa Monica at 3 and 4 in the morning because they wake up all the homeless people to make them move to clean the sidewalks. Why you gotta clean the sidewalk at 3 a.m.? Are you guys all tweaking or something? Like to wake up, they do it to mess with the homeless. So because they know that the homeless sleep on the sidewalk. Sidewalk they could sleep in Santa Monica, you get kicked out everywhere.
in Venice, right? Because I thought you meant.
Santa Monica, Venice too, I wake them up. I just so when here's the thing. If the city wakes up the homeless people, then here's what my brain says. Is there if there's a sleeping tax, that's basically like a sleeping tax. So if you pay money and you have a home because you pay money, then you get to sleep. If you don't pay money, you don't pay the sleeping tax, you don't get to sleep. So when I think about this, I'm like, so if you pay money, you get to sleep, you don't pay, you don't get to sleep. That doesn't make sense. Just like if you don't pay money, you don't get to eat. That doesn't make sense. So I wake everyone up and I'm like, come to the window and see what they don't want you to see because that happens in the middle of the night. Anyone who didn't pay is getting woken up. So you're not getting woken up except right now because I'm waking you up. But because you pay, technically you don't have to get woken up. But now you do because I want you to come and see. So that's what I tell them. What I'm saying is Earth is a self-cleaning planet. That's like saying you have to clean a vagina. It cleans itself. You don't have to you don't have to clean the planet. We have to clean up after ourselves, but we don't have to go rake leaves. We don't have to go, no. What we have to do is create a planet that we are in balance and symbiotically relating to so that our way of being benefits the whole. And if our way of living and meeting our needs is hurting the planet, we change it. So we all know in Santa Monica, there's flies, and if you skateboard, flies will go in your face. Flies come when there's low vibration because it's filthy, because there's death. That's why flies come. So there's filth everywhere and death everywhere in Santa Monica. That's why there are flies. So it's not rocket science. We have to pick up the concrete. There's too many squirrels at the edge of the beach. That's because we don't have biodiversity. And Santa Monica used to have a lot of predators. We had otters and bears and mountain lions and coyote. We had like all kinds of predators. Now we don't have them anymore. Our last mountain lion was killed recently, and that's why we have so yeah, so what I'm trying to say is like we're focusing on homeless people and moving them, but we should be focusing on not having the flies. Washing the sidewalk doesn't make us not have the flies. Do you see what I'm saying now? Because now when you put all, and also they're cleaning with chemicals. So every time you clean the sidewalk with chemicals, you're poisoning bugs. Well, birds eat those bugs, and now the birds are getting poisoned, and also our bodies are slowly getting poisoned. So we really have to take a look at how we're living and think about our body as a temple, and we want it to be clean. We want all of the systems to work properly. This is a full-time job. It's a full-time job to get enough rest, to get enough food, to get enough affection, to get enough movement, to do breath work, to groom, to go into bodies of water that are cold and hot. It's a full-time job to do self-care. And that's what our energy and attention is meant to be going to. Intrinsic motivations that arise from within to contribute to the benefit of all. And right now, we plan and schedule, and that's why we need to have rows and columns and rows so that it's all concrete so that we can organize it. And when we don't have spontaneity and when we're not looking inside, then we do that. But the world is not a reflection of how we're meant to be. You know, the world is meant to be filled with surprises, a different kind of food every day. We're not
I think
supposed to know where every
solution
street is.
a solution could be like to hire the homeless, clean the streets if they're gonna be.
Because we have robot tech, so we need to go to the technology that we're at. In the age of information, we need to start thinking about not giving jobs to the homeless, because the jobs of the homeless, if you I've planted gardens. I don't know if you know about my guerrilla gardening, but before I became famous, I used to do a lot of guerrilla gardening.
That there is a guy that uprooted some tree of yours, and then you were like chasing him around, and he was like, "Santa Monica close if you're not gonna do anything." And then I remember that.
An olive tree. I planted hundreds of fruit trees that we had avocados and papaya and blueberries. Like you could eat blueberries off the beach. So when the reason I'm talking about guerrilla gardening and the homeless, it wasn't just me. I would go to the beach by myself and there was always people to help. Unhoused people living outside, they love gardening. So I'm pretty sure if we let the unhoused grow plant medicines, grow fruit, grow vegetables, grow flowers, I bet you we don't have to have farmers anymore. And if we meet everyone where they're at instead of being like, give them a job to this, give them a job to that, the information and technology right now says we're not supposed to be doing most of the jobs, the robots are. And that's where we're at.
Like, then what are the farmer? If we take the jobs away from the farmers, then what are the farmers?
Is another word for prison, and we can't have farms anymore because we know that we have a universal need for freedom, and universal needs go across species lines. So therefore, we cannot own Earth and we cannot own its inhabitants. And that is one of the lies that we must acknowledge, because if you can't own Earth, then you do not have borders. And now you don't have property to protect. So if you don't own, that means that the home that you're in right now, you are the caretaker there. And that the land around there, you're the caretaker there, which means you depend on each other, you take care of each other. But right now, the narrative says we own it and this is our land and we keep nature out and we don't want nature to depend on us and we don't want to depend on nature. And these are lies. Told you what we do first. We create human community gardens so that grocery stores and farms become obsolete. And then instead of having more scarcity in the abundance model, we don't have to feel scarcity or the pinch of the market economy, because awakening is not going to be tumultuous and will not create suffering. it will create gradually less suffering and more pleasure. And what will happen by creating community gardens is gradually less and less. The grocery stores will see that they don't need that many workers. They don't need that much food on the shelves. So all of a sudden, some of the stores are closing. Now there's community gardens. They're bulldozing up the grocery store. Now there's another community garden. And also, Earth, we don't have limited real estate. We could start having crystal cities that go into the sky. The reason I say crystal is because it generates energy, and I want us to ground to Earth's electromagnetic field. But if you prefer the Jetsons, I don't know what the architecture or the structures will be like, because all of us will create this world together. That's the thing. We got to be creative underground, in the water, on the caves, on the cliffs. Let's live everywhere, because in an abundance model, we can do anything we could think of.
I mean, like, I get the sentiment, and in a perfect world, like, that would be awesome.
A perfect world, it's a balanced world where instead of votes and money, it is run off willingness and capacity. There's a difference. If it's run on votes and money, everyone's doing stuff based off coercion. If we go off willingness and capacity, not all of the work will get done, because if there's not willingness and capacity, maybe it's not supposed to get done. The work that is really supposed to get done, if there's not enough willingness or capacity to do it, the very fact that this is not getting done will raise people's preferences, therefore making them willing and wanting to do that work, which shouldn't be considered work. Now it feels like play, because we're contributing to others. If we're creating positive change in the world, it gives us a sense of meaning and purpose. This is very rewarding, because now we're releasing oxytocin and serotonin and dopamine. And it's not dopamine that's fake, like when we get paid or complete a task, or it's a real dopamine blast that is going to stay with us.
Rewarding, I guess, is what you're saying, like, to actually contribute something that
I If I eat a strawberry and I receive dopamine because I've eaten a strawberry, that is true. I have received benefit and nutrients. That dopamine is truthful. If I eat strawberry flavored gummies and they are filled with sugar, and I flood with dopamine and my neural receptors are going crazy, that's a lie. It's not real. It's a fake dopamine blast. And it's the same thing with, like, when you pay a bill versus when you create an interdependent connection and you've built more trust and deeper awareness of how to make life more wonderful for this living being. And I love, like, before I didn't think spiders or sharks or alligators were snuggly. And I'm telling you, I've done my research. You could go on YouTube, and the more ferocious you think they are, the more relentless and pushy they are about snuggles. And sharks and spiders and alligators, they they won't leave their friends alone. If they make friends with a human or any other animal, can't believe how relentless they are about their affection and snuggles. So we've been enemy imaging our friends, and we've been pushing away earth and balance and symbiosis and relationships. And a form of separation is when you take all the same skill set and put them together, all the same age and put them together. So when you put all the same age kids in school, that's a form of separation. If you put all of the scientists together, that's a form of separation. In a world of abundance, I'll give you an example. I want to have my front tooth fixed because I chipped it when I ate cement on the shred sled. I didn't have my elbows above my heart. So I hit the pavement and chipped my front tooth. So, in a world of abundance, there would be willingness and capacity for anyone who wants to learn about how to be a dentist to go where everyone is practicing dentistry, and everyone who wants to practice dentistry will be there to treat everyone who wants to receive dentistry, and everyone who wants to learn dentistry can go and learn, which means be
exist,
just
though. Like,
which means I would be able to just go to this place and find someone who can fix my tooth, that wants to fix my tooth, and I could receive, somebody could learn, somebody could teach, somebody could give. And in this world, based off willingness and capacity, I might have to go one or two times before someone gives it to me. But you know something? I've been waiting for over a year to get my tooth fixed. And in a scarcity model, how many of us perpetually go without having our needs met? I don't know what needs you have. I'm sure that you have some doctor visit you want to do or some class you want to take. How many of us want to learn or receive or give or teach and there's resistance? And the abundance model says that there doesn't have to be resistance anymore.
That like there is dentistry school and stuff. And I only think that they separate ages in school because, especially at a younger age, the gap between a year is like a lot bigger than when you get older, and the brain develops at different rates at different ages. So you wouldn't be able to like teach a
Seen a master of every age. You could see a kung fu master that's a 2 year old. You could see a math a
no,
chess
I don't know about a
master.
master,
You
right?
can
I
you
come
can find prodigies. You can find prodigies in anything at any age. And in the abundance model, instead of having all the kids together, you do want them to be mixed because it turns out we treat each other better if you put all the same age together, we're more likely to bully. When you have all different ages, the younger ones have empathy because they don't understand the older ones. The older ones remember when they were younger, so it's a different kind of empathy. We don't allow each other to abuse each other when we're watching. We're more likely to say something if we see two adults fighting and we're a little kid than if we see our peers fighting and there's 7 year olds fighting and we're seven. So having the ages mixed up in an abundance model would mean there might be a 60-year-old master dentist working on my teeth, but there's also a 4 year old who loves teeth so much and spends every single day since he was 18 months old looking at teeth, who's just as good as that 60-year-old dentist. And in the abundance model, all ages would be there, being able to practice under the guidance. Like right now, there's so much resistance, and school is so boring when it should be fun.
I would love to see the 4-year-old dentist master. That'd be pretty impressive to me. Um, I do I do want to ask a couple of more things. I don't know how much time you have. Um, you've been chilling with John Allgood, right? Like you said, you chilled with him. I think yesterday, right, or the day before. Um, I heard. I didn't see this myself, but I heard that you blocked him in your chat. No? Okay. So that's just a rumor. Never mind then. I heard that John like asked to move into like the dojo and then you blocked him. And then I was like, that doesn't sound right.
All good is staying in Venice at the beach, like one block from the beach in a hostel. And
Okay.
uh-huh. And he's in New York right now interviewing for a job.
Oh, I how did you get there? He flew?
Yeah, they flew him to New York. Pretty good job. Mm-hmm. Yep. And he's doing really well. He and I are good friends. He came to my healing circle. He's in the video I sent you.
Yeah, and the I didn't know if that was like old footage for like
Oh,
thumbnail
it's from
stuff.
Saturday.
That's from Saturday. Okay. No, that's good. That's good that you guys.
He was dating this girl from Austria, but she just went back to, or she went to San Francisco. She's doing some traveling right now, so he was hanging out with her while she was in Venice. He's really focused on work.
That's good. That's good. I don't know. He reached out to me on Instagram, was like, "You have to take all the videos down about me because they won't. No one will hire me." I was gonna make a
Not
video.
why.
Yeah, I didn't think so, but I was like,
I told him that was like a lot to ask. Like that's like a lot to ask.
"There's a lot of videos of him, and it's not like I don't know. He willingly participated, and I don't think John really said or did anything that was that crazy that he wouldn't get hired. Do you know why he asked that? Like, do you know the real reason? Or oh wait, I can't hear you. Hold on. I think she's getting a call or something.
There we go.
Oh, there you are. Sorry.
Um, I
your
forgot what I
audio.
was saying.
Oh, I was just asking if you knew maybe the real reason why he asked me to do that.
I was just saying that I think he goes, he has like, he feels shame sometimes and then changes his mind, but then later he'll want to be filmed. And as someone who films, when someone changes their mind, my channel was already taken down, so all the videos got erased by YouTube. However, I would not have taken the videos down if Allgood asked me to.
Well, he took his own channel down one time too, and put it back up. I remember that. So, and I'm like, I can relate to that. Like, I get where he's coming from there, because I don't know. It's sometimes,
I don't think it matters. I think he should just, I don't think his work's looking. I don't think anyone cares.
no, I don't think so either. But that's no, that's good insight, because I think you know John probably on a more personal level than I do, obviously. So that kind of makes sense. I was just wondering if maybe he had like a new girlfriend that was like, I don't like this, and he was like, I gotta like cleanse.
He just, he'll like 1 second he wants to be filmed, and then the next second he doesn't. And he is anxious because it's taking him a little bit to get a job.
Mm,
And he got flown to New York, so I'm pretty sure he's getting this job. So he won't be as upset about his situation. He's not feeling very good because his identity is, a lot of it's tied into his profession. And if he doesn't have a job, I think that you could probably relate to this. Men are objectified and told that they're supposed to be providers. And if they're not working, if they don't have a job, then they're not being a real man. So there might be a little bit of that going on for him. And he's feeling some shame and complacency and longing for more like clarity of what his future is going to be like, because it's scary for him to not have a job. And he was at his job for like 10 or 12 years right out of college. He was with them for a really long time. And Allgood acts like he's really poor, but he was making like 15,000 a month, and he's got a few 100,000 stashed away. He just lives like a poor church mouse. But whenever someone needs something, like when I needed to get bailed out of jail or when the food van had to get fixed, like, you would never hear it from Allgood, but stuff would just like magically get paid for. And then all of a sudden I would find out it was Allgood. So I never knew. Yeah, I never knew that about him. He's very low key about it. And he acts like he's really poor because of how he lives, but he's just saving all his money. And if someone needs something, he's usually there. He paid a lot of money to keep fixing this van so that everyone could have food delivered on the weekend, and he would never take any of the food for himself. So he's very selfless, and I imagine that it makes him feel good to have a job, because a lot of us grow up feeling so much shame, like we have to prove ourselves.
a lot of people identify themselves by their occupation as well. When like someone's like, "Hey, what do you do?" Like, or "Who are you?" Like, usually they'll like say their career. They'll be like, "I do this or that." So like, oh, I can get why he would be feeling like that. Is there no more call to love then? Because I did hear you say, I think it was in Gary's.
Oh, I have a, so okay. Anthony has been working with me for years, like 3, 4 years. Anthony's my website guy. He's the one that got me on TikTok and stuff. Anthony's gonna be the manager of my nonprofit. He's gonna be like the project manager. And Steve Aronoff, my attorney, is suing everyone, and he's going to form, he doesn't know what he's going to form yet. 501, there's like all these different things you could form, 501c3, da, da, da. But he's basically going to create a nonprofit. All of the proceeds from my lawsuits, because it's just going into a nonprofit, I'm not going to see a penny of it, but it's going to be able to pay everyone. So the lawyer will get paid, Anthony, the manager, will get paid, And Anthony right now is finding people to do social media, to do the stuff that he was doing, website, event promotion, and take it to the next level. So then that way I can just go to him and be like, I need this, this, and this. And then he's going to get it done and find people to do it. And we're waiting for the money to come in. So out of those lawsuits, I've got a whole bunch of lawsuits coming up. So there's four, and we're going to file like another 4 to 8.
The fourth one, did we say? Because it's Huntington, Santa Monica.
West LA, Santa Monica, Orange County Sheriff's Department. Love bomb threat, Starbucks, and West LA is the same one. Santa Monica police assaulting me.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
That's everyone. That's what I was assuming.
Yeah, I'm gonna be suing even more though. I'm gonna be suing a lot. And it's, yeah, because I'm gonna use the system against itself. And I'm not gonna benefit. I'm not gonna get one penny. It's gonna go in my nonprofit. And you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna do community gardening. I'm gonna do housing. I actually have a really good idea for housing for the homeless. Remember my tiny homes on wheels?
I do remember those.
So I went to the Sweet Suite, knows a bunch of executives with Walmart. So when we were doing a call to love, yeah, yeah. So we could get a grocery cart that's 3 feet by 8 feet, and then the bottom rack can be a bed. And there will be a curtain that goes around. So now the homeless person has a grocery cart where they can sleep on the bottom. There's a license plate. So now the city has them in the system and they are housed. So it's like you could move from a grocery cart to a homeless shelter to a group home to a voucher or whatever, but at least it'll be a stage of housing so they're not just sleeping in the elements. It gets them off of the ground. Now we know whose stuff is whose, and it helps the city, it helps LAPD, it helps sanitation, and it helps the housing authority because we can keep track of these people. We can keep give them a set amount of how much stuff they can have. And just like if someone has a house and they accumulate too much stuff in the front yard, well, this person has a cart. So if they accumulate too much stuff, they know that they're only allowed to go to this line, or it has a cover and their stuff's covered. If you can't fit it inside, you can't stack stuff on top. So this is a way to give homeless people, because right now homeless people get, yeah, they get thrown a trash bag and they say you can only have 60 gallons. That's not enough to have even your bedding. So this would give them dignity. It would give them a home. It would give them a bed off the ground. And then I have the compost toilet idea, the compost buckets, because pooping and peeing outside is a really big problem. And people can laugh and be like, but it's actually, there's a need for it. And until right now, there's E. coli and filth and disease. We have to take care of this. We walk down the street and you can see human feces and pee. It's like there's a need for it. So my idea for the grocery cart homes and the compost toilet means LADWP is now LADWPC for compost. And now, in addition to having social workers visit them, someone from the compost department is visiting them every week. And now they can meet them, sign them up for gardening and stuff, and sign them up for fellowships. There's a life skill worker who meets with me regularly. He does the same thing, helps me get resources, helps me. I tell him everything. Like, I don't want to have to steal food. Can you help me? Yeah. They're gonna get me on disability so I could pay, so I have enough to pay for food and I don't have to steal makeup or medicine from CVS, because those are the only places I don't take more than I need and I don't take less. And they're gonna give me enough on Social Security. I can give a little leftover. I could give to the caregivers of my kids, and I could give some money to my kids. So the life skills worker that's helping me, they could have the same kind of people helping the homeless people. So they could say, like, yeah, sometimes I steal, sometimes I use drugs, sometimes I do this. And then the life skills worker will help them too. So now we have all these people visiting them. Wraparound care works. It's
Be like a stepping stone to kind of like the housing that you're.
Here's the thing is when you're unhoused, no one helps you. If we put people in a grocery cart home, people are going to visit them. People are always coming to visit me. I've got my therapist coming all the time. I can't forget an appointment because they're just going to come to my house because I live in a wraparound care facility and people, their offices inside the building I live in. So they just come knock on my door. If we do this for people and they're going to knocking on their door, I'm telling you, we're going to create a new world where we don't have homeless anymore because the cure to homelessness is not domination. The cure to homelessness is partnership.
Wraparound services is one of like the conditions that the residents can't do drugs and stuff. Because I can understand that not being a problem for you.
The home I'm in, I think that they meet you where you're at if you're trying to get off stuff. Then not everyone's sober like I am. Um, they meet you where you're at, which is good because not everyone can get sober right away. If someone is still using and stuff, um, they could technically be where I am because it's not a sober facility. However, some of the people who are where I'm at, if they're not willing to put the work in, they're not gonna, you get in what you put in, get out what you put in. So, someone like me, I show up to every single meeting. I go to all my appointments. I sign up for everything that they have. I want every single thing. I've got more therapies and treatments coming up.
No, that's good. I'm glad that you're doing that and not just being like, ah, fuck it, because Big Ben's place is right here and I don't need to like comply with anything. So like,
I want to comply. It's also keeping me out of jail. And that's not why I'm doing it. But yeah, I'm in trouble with the police right now. I'm telling you one thing, they're not going to lock me up. No one's going to arrest me because as long as I'm in mental health court and working on myself, everything I'm in trouble for, that's a target behavior I'm working with a professional with. And I guarantee you, anything that gets brought up in court, that's a target behavior. Many of my target behaviors, I've already had a lot of progress on. And what we want to get to is an extinction burst. So now I don't have to have that target behavior anymore. Now I can turn around and help people who are dealing with that behavior because I've already fixed it. And when we do this, I've been pretty vocal about abusing my kids and abusing babies and elders and animals. And so I learned not, yeah, I learned. So I talk about it because I had to learn not to hit. That was a target behavior. So that's one of my target behaviors that I don't do anymore. There's target behaviors I still do. So I can help people who want to learn how not to hit, but the target behaviors I have, I got to find people who learn how not to do that. So that's how we come together. We help each other because the stuff I'm working on, the stuff that I've mastered, whoever's helping me on the stuff I'm working on, well, I might have mastered what they're working on. And this works much better than domination. California knows it too. California doesn't want to put people in jail. It wasn't a fight. I gave her rough affection.
like you, that it was.
Okay, rough affection's different.
Is it?
Yep, I'll tell you what rough affection is. Use the most love and care, the least force and control. You don't hit out of anger, indignation, out of any of that. You hit with love.
It's still hitting. You know what I
Okay,
mean?
so let
I
me
don't think
explain.
Morgan
Let me
appreciated it.
paint a picture for you.
Okay.
My home has walls made out of yoga ribbons. I wake up in the middle of the night because I hear farts, and they are not my farts.
Kind of about the Morgan. This is what kicked off the Morgan thing.
Or I might wake up in the middle of the night and feel a warm body against my body because I'm sleeping near the blanket and this person snuggles so close that now this blanket is touching me and they're also touching me. So I can feel a warm body snuggling me. And when I find out it's Morgan for the 18th night in a row, and I told her she better leave me alone and give me some space. And she's it not only in my biofield, she's touching me. I had to give her some rough affection.
Yeah, to like deal with it the streets way kind of thing. I mean, like 18 nights.
Took a very long palm tree leave and chased her almost to Santa Monica. The third time she woke me up that night. The first time she woke me up, I was so angry, I beat her with my skateboard and I realized you can't use a weapon. Yeah, yeah. I realized I was like, no, 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 you don't use a weapon. I'm still learning. So I was like, no, don't use a weapon. So then the next time I just picked up the palm tree leaf and I was like, get out of here, Morgan. I don't want to have to beat you up again. So I chased her. She kept coming back. She won't leave me alone.
Not still there, right? Like she's not. I haven't seen Morgan in a while. I guess I shouldn't.
Well, I ended up leaving the beach and she like wouldn't leave to hide and sleep in an alley
Like what? Like, um,
at Wavecrest
yeah. That's. I was trying to remember the name of it.
over where Yoshi is. Yeah.
Yoshi.
Because
Yeah.
Morgan wouldn't leave me alone. And then Morgan found me. She found out where I was sleeping. So, and then shortly after I moved to the van, but yeah.
Okay. She seems. I don't know. She seems like she's on a lot of drugs.
She,
She what?
she's so sweet. She's just really annoying.
Yeah. Yeah. We can't be
She just
people
wouldn't
just
let me
skateboarders.
sleep. Like
What
you
about
just
there was a Tony Hawk's. She says she's Tony Hawk's baby mama, but that can't be true. I mean, like that's just not true. I can't remember her name. I think it was Jennifer. Did you beat her up?
Jennifer, the blonde girl.
Yeah, she's the
Did
one that
Jennifer? Yeah, I had to give her rough affection a couple times. She,
couple times.
sh
I thought it was just one time.
no, it was twice in one day.
Oh fuck.
She stole part of my peace pipe.
Weed
And
pipe?
yeah, you know I'm Cali sober, so yeah, she stole part of my bong. So I was like, "Where is it?" And she wouldn't tell me where it was. So
Like the
I was like,
stem? Did she use like the stem to smoke?
"She's just like a stealer." So she stole part of it. I was like, "Give it." She was like, "No, I don't know." So I was like, "Don't ever do it again." And I was like pissed. So she was like upset that I got mad at her. So she started to throw all of the metal chairs outside Charlie's Deli in front of the Venice V camera. So then I was like, oh hell no. So I started running toward her and she looks at me like, oh shit. And she starts running away. So I caught her and then she like collapsed in my arms. So I had to carry her to the chairs and I was like, pick them up. And she was like, no, like laying on the ground. I was like, pick them up now. And I didn't like, so then like I kicked her and then I was like learning not to hit, but I was like learning not to hit because you're not supposed to hit with weapons. So I was like trying not to like hit her out of anger, but I was like getting pissed. So I'm like, oh, I can't hit her. And then people picked up all the chairs for her. But no, she was out of control though. It's rough affection because like when I went over and like chased after her and grabbed her and brought her over, it was like, gotta stop acting like this. Like I wasn't like it was like loving. It wasn't like you're bad and you're this. It was like, goddess, this isn't you. Come on. And I may have it was like pissing me off because she wouldn't pick up the chairs, but I was like, come on, like have some respect, goddess. And but it was loving though. So when I do that with women, like they don't feel disrespected afterwards. It's like they have more respect for me. So that's how I do it.
That's how I do it.
Good rough affection.
I'm glad that neither of them are seriously injured, as far as I know.
To learn how to battle each other and not hurt each other. The only reason we have wars is because we don't know how to do rift resolution. Part of rift resolution is people who are not used to getting affection might need rough affection because they've never had affection. So there's stages of affection before someone's ready to receive it. It might have to be a little rough. Or if they're not aggressive and they're very timid, then you give light affection and you start very light with those people. People who are super aggressive, grab them and be real rough with them.
I kind of disagree to just because like that's what the enforcers do, right? That's what the police.
No, no, no. I disagree with your disagreement. Think about it this way, Steve. Let's say you and I were angry with each other, and I jumped on your shoulders and gave you the best deep tissue massage I could muster and was like, "You're too lovable. How dare you?" Ah. And then you wrestled me and we made sure that we discharged anger, violence, but
That's not
but
what you
made it
did with
feel good.
Morgan or Jennifer, though, right? Like that was more like you hit Morgan.
The learning stage. I was like learning in the moment. I was like learning not to use weapons, because I remember hitting Morgan with a skateboard and being like, "Oh no, I shouldn't do that." Like, because if you use a weapon, then you could get hurt and they could get hurt. And you want to use the most love and care, the least force and control. Men and women need to learn how to battle each other and have it feel good, because the game is not over when someone gets hurt. The game is meant to end with us hugging.
The end goal that you're trying to get to is what you're saying. Like,
Strokes is very similar to jujitsu. Jujitsu, you use your arms and legs and squeeze and choke the person and hurt the person. Slow strokes, you use your arms and legs and squeeze and stroke and touch the person until it hurts so good. And you take them into ecstasy and pleasure and healing and restoration. So instead of hurting, you heal, but it's the same thing. We need to learn how to fight and not hurt each other, but heal each other. And rough affection is a real thing. If we just avoid all violence, then we're not doing rough affection. And we must use the most love and care and the least force and control. In this case, I needed to battle Morgan and I needed to battle Jennifer. And it was part of my learning. They were smaller than me. Morgan probably could have kicked my ass, but she would never fight back. She loves me so much, even when I beat her. And
she's like,
she was like, I know that's why she was so sweet. So I felt kind of bad. I told her too. I was like, Morgan, I don't want to do this, but you're so annoying. I have to beat you up a little bit because you won't stop.
there has been some questions in chat. I haven't been paying attention to chat enough, but someone claiming to be your son was leaving comments on a lot of videos, like pretty much all over the place, actually. Some on your videos, um, and they said that. Hold on, how do I word this? Do you know why they would claim that you lied about their father's death? I don't know if you saw that comment. Um,
Well, what I know about the father's death is not even from the family. It's from secondhand accounts. So I can't speak for the father's death. However, what I've heard is that he gave himself a lethal shot. Being an anesthesiologist, this would be easy.
okay, because yeah, interesting. And you think that account is like your son for sure? Like, because I remember it was some live stream you were in chat, and I was like, "Do you think this might be your mom? Because your mom seems kind of crazy." And you're like, "No, I'm pretty sure it's my son." You still think that? Like, yeah, you don't think your mom's being nefarious?
That no one knows about.
Like, you didn't even know about?
My mom knows about it, but my mom wouldn't pretend to be my son because she would have to deal with the backlash of she wouldn't do that. My mom lies. I know when she lies. Like, she lies about stupid stuff that is even like obvious. Like, she tells me that she doesn't call the cops, but then she'll go to court and get a restraining order against me, and then I'll ask her about it and she'll say that she tells me that she's being forced to have a restraining order and she doesn't want to do it and she wants me to see my kids, but my kids don't want to see me. And my daughter's caregivers don't, but it's not her. Like, my mom wants, so it's like very disorienting, her lies. My mom wouldn't do that though. She wouldn't pretend to be my son. Also, that account said something that only my son would say, and it's something that nobody knows.
And who was like, where did you hear that he was given a lethal dose of anesthesia? Um,
I went to court, and my son's dad, the one that was paying me 13,800 a month in child support, he showed up at court, and the courts would not allow him to have custody. So a month later, I was informed when I went back to court, because you go every month. I was informed. So within that time period, less than a month of him going to court, he committed suicide. And that was the first time he ever met my son. And that was in the courthouse. He met my son during a visit. And my son saw him for like 20 minutes. And then a few weeks later, he killed himself. And
well, you
that's
were
all I
told,
know.
right? Okay. Was he in bad health during that time that you saw him in court, or
A plane crash
right?
that he was very badly burned in, and he didn't have ears and was not able to keep saliva in his mouth, so he had to have a like a drool napkin, and it was not a amazing quality of life for him. However, he was expected to have a I don't think that he was expected to die. I think that he could have recovered more. I'm not sure. It was my belief, although I mean, I think anyone can make an assumption of why he did what he did. I don't know.
But if he didn't do that, though, then we shouldn't be saying that, right? Because
That
that
was what I was told.
right. But then, like
I
the
was
person that account
What
said
did
that
they say?
they said that they were visiting the son, your son, and that the heat was too much, and I can't remember where they were. I have the comment saved somewhere, but basically, like he it was because of like the flying or something or the heat, and that he passed away like visiting or something like that. Um,
Is it?
yeah, and I was like,
Didn't kill himself. He died from the visit.
that's what the comment said, and I
Well,
was
I
like,
don't know.
that
That
would
could be
be
true.
right, and that'd be really traumatic for the kid, right? Because like if my dad.
My family is filled with secrets, and the courts are filled with secrets, and our government is filled with secrets. So I don't know. I would like for there not to be secrets.
But yeah,
Well, there's secrets. Like, for example, no, my mother creates the same type of household that I grew up in, where there's screaming and yelling, and your stuff gets broken, and you get hit, and you get thrown out of the house, and you get verbally, psychologically, all kinds of abuse. And that's the household my kids are. But the the government, knowing that I grew up in that kind of a household, the assumption is that that's the kind of household if they're going back to my mom. So the government knows this, but they act like everything's fine. It's like this secret, like it's okay if there's abuse, we just won't talk about it. And I don't want there to be secrets. I want there to be acknowledgement and bravery and curiosity about the truth. Cuz it's okay to be abusive if you're working on yourself, because we can't help where our step 1 is, but we can help where we take our next step.
I guess like I think I don't know what your incentive to be. I don't know what your incentive would be to lie about the death like that. So I
Answer is I
guess
don't know.
right. Okay. Well, that's like I appreciate you being
I was told he killed himself.
right. Like I don't know why you would just make that up. Like I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what the incentive would be. It make honestly, I thought it made you look bad to say like, yeah, one of my exes fucking killed themselves. I was like, that doesn't like what the fuck happened. You know what I mean? Um,
That's what I was told. I was told he took his own life. And I think that you can look on the internet about how he died. I'm pretty sure it's public because the plane crash is public. You could see pictures of the plane crash. And there's you could read about him there's like a whole story about it. So I've never researched it because it's just I don't know.
I don't know. You were with them as if you had a kid with the guy, then I'm sure there was some connection there.
But I just looked at men like walking ATMs. I didn't look at them like a subjectivity to relate to or to connect to because I didn't to me men were objects to use and discard.
Appreciate the honesty. So okay. Um,
I looked at men as a paycheck, and the first guy was a dud and ended up going to federal prison. So I made sure the second one was a good one. And as soon as I had his money and had his kid, I left New York and went to California because I wasn't going to have him interfere in my life. He's just a paycheck. And that was how I used to look at men. I did not I did not think of them as beings who could contribute to me on emotional levels. I just thought that they were like there to use because if I connected to them on any other level, they would hurt me or do something that was a liability. So I didn't trust men.
I feel like you kind of did that with Jeff too.
Jeff.
The second one, Jeff too. I
Oh yeah, that's funny. I was actually just talking to my therapist about this yesterday. This is why I wish I could record it. So I feel like that was my extinction burst. I was talking to my therapist yesterday about Sweet Sweet. I met him and I was building tiny homes for the homeless, and all of a sudden, we built six tiny homes together on wheels. And he's doing like everything that I want for global liberation and helping me garden. And I was like, yay, like part of the super squad. I was never attracted to him. Then I got arrested, and he was there when I got arrested. He drove me to go meet Allison. Sweet Sweet bailed me out of jail. It was like $75,000 because I had so many warrants catch up to me, and it cost him like $3,000. And we were opening a nonprofit and a yoga studio, and it's like everything I wanted he would do. And I told him, well, before I get open my yoga studio, I want to get my butt done. He's like, okay. So he had me sign something saying that I would pay him back 33,000. And my attorney knows that as soon as I get Steve Aronoff is instructed to pay Jeff back, and then everything else goes into the nonprofit, but he's going to get paid back. um and I was talking to my therapist about because that's my way of being and living amends, paying him back because I was using him and it was opportunistic. And yeah, he was going to open a yoga studio and help me do my grocery cart housing ideas and help me with community gardening and the call to live. He was like doing everything I wanted. And when it came down to it, we had a lease. I was supposed to open a yoga studio last July, and we canceled the lease, didn't open the yoga studio. Um, he like slammed my car door and scared me, and it was like I just realized like, yeah, I'm not going to stick around for that.
your pillow
And
against that was the day.
well, so I never hooked up with him. I never kissed him even. I never even held his hand.
Really?
And yeah, I never even kissed him. And I was
Why'd you get? You got a tattoo though.
I know, I got a tattoo because we were going to get married because he was going to be my primary partner and do everything I said. And I was gonna have a nonprofit, and I was celibate at the time. So I just figured like I'm not attracted to him. I'll just find guys I'm attracted to. And some kings I'm not gonna sleep with, and others I will. And also by marrying him, then I get to see my kids right away. That was the only reason I married Perfect Prince, was because as soon as I married Perfect Prince, he was able to go visit my kids. My mom will let my husband see my kids, but not me. My
Why she was at the
husband
wedding?
Yeah, my mom went to our wedding. My husband used to go almost, like at least once a month to see the kids, and he would take them to the shooting range and go to my mom's house and take them out to dinner. And Perfect Prince would go see my family. And so I figured it would get, so basically, I was using Jeff. And I thought because I wasn't sleeping with him, that it was okay to use him because I wasn't exploiting myself, but it made me feel gross to like use and not give anything to the person also. So I decided after that, like, I don't want to use guys anymore. And now I'm in living amends for that too. Like, I'm responsible for myself. And if I need something, like even with Big Ben, I went a month without washing my hair because I needed conditioner, but I didn't have ask Big Ben to buy me conditioner. I know he would have, but I would just rather go without and just get my own conditioner. So
UTI heist. I know you did.
yeah, he bought me medicine. He would have done something.
He would have. Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
That's
But I don't accept anything from men anymore. Instead, I depend on my community, my tribe. Even though these men I'm with are part of my tribe, part of my community, I don't even want to look to them to meet my needs. And that feels good because,
and
well,
take
that was
money
my
from the
whole life.
nonprofit.
Yeah, that was my whole life, was using men. And I'm finding new ways now where I don't need men's money. I'm going to have a nonprofit, and I'm going to have money, but again, it's going to go towards community gardening. And I'm just going to live off government assistance because I look at that as my community is taking care of me and I'm taking care of my community. And what I think is cool about suing the bejeebers out of everyone, if I don't touch one penny, then that means I'm not doing it to benefit me. I'm doing it to benefit all of us. I'm doing it so that all of us can have a better world of need based fellowships to make life even more wonderful for all of life instead of domination systems. And do you want to hear what my nonprofit's going to be called?
Yeah. What is it?
We did it ourselves.
That's what it was called. You said it on Gary's thing. Gary restarted that interview like 4 times. He kept getting phone calls.
He's always like that.
But we,
And he's always worried about the comments. Everyone gets mad at me if I interrupt you, and if I. He's always worried he's gonna. Yeah, yeah. White men feel a lot of shame.
like, I don't know. My audience is different. My audience is like, you don't interrupt her enough, and they thought I was frozen a bunch of times. Maybe I am frozen. I was frozen, but like, anyways, that's interesting to me that Gary gets in trouble for interrupting you. Like, I don't know. Um, what was? I guess like we could take some questions. Someone said like you had Big Ben buy you a coffee maker. Someone said Big Ben bought you a coffee maker, or you had him buy you
Yeah, he got me a Keurig.
just like as a gift. Like he was just like, "Hey, surprise!"
Had an extra Keurig, like a really nice cappuccino machine. And when I got my apartment in the end of March, he brought it over and was like, "Here's a coffee maker for you."
Well,
Yeah.
there's nothing wrong.
I've used it twice. Yeah, I will accept gifts from my partners.
Right?
However,
Yeah.
like I'm just fine. Like I don't need, and also I don't go to him for needs. By the way, I'm gonna use the little girl's room. I have to pee real quick.
Go
I'll be
ahead.
right back. You
Yeah.
can
No,
ask people what questions they have.
yeah. Well, if you guys have any questions, put them in the thing now, and I'll copy some over. Cleveland said Daisy deleted her own channel. Oh, that's a good one. Let me can I copy and paste? Oopsies. Pull this up here, down here. Whoa. Why did I copy? Why did I copy all that? That's okay. Look at this, my smirk. Apparently, I've been frozen with smirks on for a majority of the stream. Um, Rudy is all crazy. We're gonna ban Rudy. We're gonna take this opportunity to ban Rudy because I just don't like him. How about that? Get fucked. Let's see. Oh, where is Ben the dog? That's a good question. Ooh, Ben the dog is in Colorado. Okay, yeah, that's where I thought he was good. I mean, like, maybe that's not good. I don't know. I mean, it's his dog. I just hope people didn't like how he was taking care of him.
Good doesn't take very. I know.
He can learn.
Well, okay, so here's the thing. A dog is not supposed to be taken care of by one person. A dog is supposed to have a pack and a tribe and a whole bunch of, I don't believe in the whole pet thing. And unfortunately, Ben kind of gets left places. Olga's had him for 8 years since he was really young. So he'll like leave him for like a year or two and get him back. And Olga loves Ben a lot. I can relate to having a dog and when I was trying to do better, not being able to give it a good home. So yeah.
It's a good thing John doesn't have kids. You can't be doing that with like a kid. Like just leave 2 years and coming back. Um, Cleveland said that you deleted your own channel. I don't know which channel she's referring to. I know that you've had a few channels go down. You didn't delete any of them?
No. One time I told my mom I took it down
Okay, it's like um
because I wanted her to think I took it down because it got erased and she was asking me to take my channel down. And then YouTube erased my channel because of they said it was sexually gratifying because I had like because I have a big bust. And if the
I
cameras I
there was
won't even be doing anything. It'll just like violate me and erase my channel.
so is that I remember there was a time when you had I think it was Anthony, I might be wrong. The YouTube guy download or you asked him to download all the videos off of like the big channel. I think that was the channel, at least that I thought you took down by yourself. But YouTube took that down.
Yeah, I guess he did download them. I could repost all those videos.
Hey, good.
That's a good idea. I'm gonna ask him to do that.
Yeah, no, because you're right about so there is a recent video. You were somewhere. I think you were at some office or something, but you were in a sweater and you were wearing a bra, but it flagged my shit. It was like this has nudity in it and it age restricted it because like you could see your nipple through the two shirts. Even though like you were fully clothed completely, it was like there's fucking nudity. Um so I don't know. I used to say that I didn't believe that because we would watch a lot of your content and then like my shit wouldn't get flagged for anything. So I was like, how is her shit getting flagged? But I've experienced it now. So I'm like, I could see how maybe if you had a couple of videos like that, they would just take it down. Um,
And then when I said I wanted to overthrow the government and have a revolution.
I could see why they might not like that.
Yeah, the title was like overthrow the government with our love. And they flagged it on TikTok.
Yeah, no, TikTok is surprisingly stricter, I found, than YouTube with some things. It's interesting actually, because like
You can't even talk about addiction or anything like that. Even if
right,
you're
like
talking about recovery.
certain keywords will get you like restricted and stuff. It's kind of crazy. Let's see what else. Oh, my question's like 6 times. Do Daisy's donations go into Big Ben's account? Oh, Cleveland said that your donations went into Big Ben's account as well. I guess like you don't get donations. Like I guess the TikTok donations, like when you get, I don't know how TikTok works.
Anthony, the website guy.
Okay, okay, that makes sense.
Uh-huh.
Um,
One of the TikToks, the big one goes to Anthony, and then the smaller TikTok that I created goes into a PayPal account that I use to get supplies until I have my nonprofit, then I will put the money in there. But yeah, I have the website guy getting the funds for TikTok, and the rest is going to go into my nonprofit.
okay, yeah,
And then I'll just do everything through my nonprofit.
I I guess like I don't know much about nonprofits. I think it's I don't know if this is just a phase, like the sue everyone phase, nonprofit phase. What would be, I guess, do you need a mission statement when you make a nonprofit? Like, what would the mission statement be?
We're gonna we're gonna sue everyone that we're trying to replace.
The mission statement?
No, no, the mission statement. So the nonprofit's gonna be called "We Did It Ourselves." I don't have a mission statement yet, and it's gonna be based off my philosophy, the 5 steps of global liberation, and what I said about replacing domination, so like market economy, government structures and systems, with need-based fellowships. So my nonprofit will basically, what the donations, when I sue everyone and once we have money, we're going to do app development so people can sign up. And when you go to the We Did It Ourselves app, let's say, so I was helping someone today with panic attacks. So let's say somebody has a panic attack. Instead of calling 911, or they could call 911, right? So, yeah, so then so exact same model, but we're not calling it a call to love because someone stole that name. Yeah, Bodhi. Yeah, goddess Bodhi. Suing. No, I'm suing them because of what I've gone through, because I keep having to go into contact with these systems, and when I'm going into contact with them, they're doing things to me and my family that I don't consent to. So I'm going to sue them because of what happened to me, and then I'm going to take what happened to me and I'm going to say, instead of you guys hurting people, we're going to replace you with people who are going to help people. So the money that I get from Starbucks and LAPD will go towards is has no money, and it's not like a nonprofit, it's just like a self-run fellowship. My nonprofit is going to try to create a whole bunch of these fellowships. So, like I told you, everything from dentistry to empathy angels. So, instead of police, there's empathy angels. And then, if someone has a panic attack, you don't have like cops and EMT show up. You have someone who knows about panic attacks show up. And then this way, it's much more like relationship based, because then they'll join a community with other people who may have like anxious avoidant tendencies and panic attacks, and they can learn how to walk each other home so they don't have to have panic attacks. And when we create this type of fellowship off of needs and willingness and capacity in a flow of attentions and energies that we use to benefit each other and empower each other, then this will make it so the stuff that happened to me doesn't happen to anyone else. So the whole idea is, I went through this suffering kind of like so that no one else has to go through it. And the reason why no one else has to go through it is because the people who did this to me are going to make it right, and they're going to pay, and that money should not go to benefit me, because that's not right. Because if it just goes to benefit me, that means it's not going to help anyone in the future who this might happen to. It's already happened to me. So it needs to not go to me. It has to go to those in the future, so it can help them. And I will be in the future too, so it will help me in the future.
You mean by like happen to you? Do you mean I guess
Taken away. People have lied. People took my kids away based off lies. I've lost my freedom based off lies.
well, I don't know about lies though, because like you have taken accountability for why they were taken.
Not getting my kids back, and all they can say is she's mentally ill. You can say anyone is mentally ill. Everyone's parents are mentally ill. Name one person that can be like, my parents are not mentally ill. You can't alienate, you can't do that. You cannot alienate kids from their parents.
This was actually like
Kids
something.
kids need to be able to have access to the caregivers they want to have access to. And if there are certain caregivers preventing those children from having access to their parents, that is not okay. That hurts the children and it hurts everyone else involved. It's not okay.
I think I don't see why there would be any problem with like supervised visitation or even just like visitation. I know
Of all of the systems so that we don't have supervised visitation, because if community was involved, then we'll think about it. The same way I got sober,
if you
community's
could
involved.
go back though to like that that crazy night when that guy, you called the cops on him actually, but you called the cops on him, you ended up in jail. Like you, I assume, would do things differently, right? Like you wouldn't be in that situation. Do you think like it might be more productive to maybe help people stay out of situations like that than trying to dissolve a whole system that I don't think it's possible to dissolve, but maybe we could like prevent people from even getting to that point? Because I don't think that you would do that again, right? Like you
You dissolve the system. The way you dissolve the system is, instead of taking away more needs and creating more suffering, you meet the person where they're at and identify what their needs are. So I was wanting to get sober. I was wanting to awaken. I was wanting to have wraparound care. I was wanting that. I was not someone who didn't want to get sober. That was not me. I was actually trying to. Even if somebody didn't want to get sober, if you alienate children from their parents, then you're ultimately hurting the children and you're hurting the parents, and it's not going to help the person get sober who doesn't want to get sober. The only reason I got sober is because I really, really had to get sober then because I wanted to get my kids back. But taking away my kids is not what got me sober. What got me sober was just acknowledging it, and the fact that there was now intervention, but the way that the intervention was done caused trauma and suffering and chaos and turmoil. And just because good things came out of it doesn't mean that it was good. It was very, very, the way it was done was barbaric and violent, and it was not in the service of meeting needs. It was very clear that I didn't matter and my kids didn't matter. It was very clear and very apparent that it's all about the judge following the rules, the caseworker checking the boxes and doing their job, I doing the programs and drug testing and checking the boxes, and the opinions of the caregivers, and then the reports that are given to the courts. And when we go based off what the evaluations are and what the investigators are saying, then you create an environment where people's defenses get triggered. So instead of having a learning and growth space, when we're triggering defenses, there's no longer any learning. It's completely stagnant.
I guess I think I think that there needs to be some kind of like chain break, right? Like
What they're doing now works. They're meeting needs, they're giving me housing, they're giving me resources. Why couldn't that have been done when I had my kids?
I guess like wouldn't you had a tough upbringing yourself, right? Wouldn't you have wanted some kind of intervention if it could have been done? And maybe
Around care, that would have been an intervention. I didn't have to be brutalized by the courts. I didn't have to be thrown in jail. That doesn't help the world. It
it's
doesn't
like
help the planet if you put someone in jail. That doesn't help them. It costs more money. It costs more money to put me in jail than it does to send me to a Joe Dispenza retreat. I could have gone to a week long Joe Dispenza retreat and stayed at a really fancy hotel for the amount of money it costs to arrest me. And when they arrested me, they traumatized me. They made me feel like shit. They hurt my body. It took weeks for my body to recover. There was a toll, not only because of the stress and the abuse and the violence, but because of the nutrients that I was not given, lack of clean water. Anyone who believes in punishment needs to ask themselves the question, what do you want the person's reason for doing what they do to be? Do you want their reason for changing to be because they're scared and traumatized and horrified and they've suffered? Or do you want them to change because they've actually had a change of heart and because they actually care and because they really want to contribute to everyone else and they want their way of being to benefit the whole? And at the root of crimes, whether we're hurting ourselves or hurting someone else, at at that root is separation. So what we want to do is we want to dissolve the separation by saying, I do that too.
That like this approach would be more beneficial to like because I know that a lot
Healed me. I'm telling you right now, I got sober. I learned not to hit. I no longer scream at my partners. I don't, from what I can see, it's been about 6 months. I've had a lot of stimulus. I'm not verbally shredding people. The target behaviors I've worked on that I was doing before, I'm not doing anymore. I didn't lose my kids because of hitting or verbal abuse. There was no accusations of any of that. I'm the one that offered that information. I lost my kids because they said I'm mentally ill, but really it's just the caregivers and the social workers not liking me. If everyone is pitted against each other, and when we have investigators and judges, this is called domination. And domination is not about integration, collaboration, or unity. Domination is about coercion, being against each other, not sharing information or telling the truth because it can be used against us. This does not work. And we are in a new collective frame of consciousness that's taken us to a higher level where we can no longer relate this way. I am living proof. I can tell you, I've been arrested, I've been tranquilized, I've gone through courts, I've gone through DCFS, I've drug tested, I've gone through forced programs, I've gone through probation, I've gone through pretty much like, besides prison, every single thing that the government does to bad people. And I'm letting you know, the healing and the fellowship and the community, that's what helps. All of this other stuff, this does not help, it only hurts from
would be do
experience.
and like because your family kept a lot of stuff like under the rugs and stuff when they were like bringing like
Let me say one more thing too. Lawmakers and people who think that jails and prisons work, and anyone who thinks people's kids should get removed, they have never been through it. Because if you've been through it and if you've had your kids removed, if you've been to jail, if you've been through, you would admit it doesn't work. People who are saying that, oh yeah, throw them in jail, oh, take away their kids, they've never been through it. It doesn't work. It hurts.
there's different degrees, right? Of I think
Doesn't work ever. If there is a child and a parent and the parent is abusing the child and the child wants to see the parent, then you use the most amount of love and care and the least amount of force and control. So with as little as force and control as possible, you let them see each other. And
parents have
you use the right amount of force and control, which means if this parent has violent outbursts and you have to worry about psychological, verbal, physical, whatever types of abuse, we could categorize them, and then according to their category we know how to respond, and we respond with the most love and care, least force and control. Now instead of parental alienation, we have wraparound care. Now instead of the cutting off a finger in order to heal the hand, we keep the hand together because you need the whole body to heal itself. You can't cut off the hand and then try to heal the hand over here and keep the body over here. It doesn't work like that. And the family unit is no different because the family unit has certain dynamics that have been there for generations. So even though it's me and my kids, and I've only been beating on my kids for 10 years, it's been happening in my family for thousands of generations. And this trauma is generational trauma that we're trying to break. So we cannot blame each other and turn on each other anymore if we want to heal it and emerge with as little suffering and as much support as possible.
I mean, like we can agree to disagree. I do think that there are some parents that just like shouldn't have their kids. Just like Casey Anthony, for example, right? Like she killed her kid. She got away with it too. I think like if there was some intervention before that, that wouldn't have happened.
Beautiful example. Let me ask you a question. What would have happened if she got healing and integration and if there was honesty and transparency And if instead of, because think about it this way, if I'm Casey Anthony, I wouldn't have hidden the body, I wouldn't have lied, because I know that I'm not going to get punished. I'm going to get healed. I'm going to get loved. So I'm going to say, I lost it. I just like started seeing red, and I hurt my daughter, and I just was going to hurt her a little because I was so angry. And then I hurt her a little too much, and then I got scared, and yeah, her body's over here and I need help and I don't want to do this. I feel shame. I feel hollow. I feel like this isn't happening. I'm hurting so bad. I miss my daughter and I know I did it. If she was able to be honest and knew she wasn't going to get punished, she would have been able to heal. Because she got away with it, and because of how it's set up, it's like now there's no accountability, there's no acknowledgement of impact. She doesn't get to look at herself, she doesn't have to. Now it's just like, ooh, you guys don't know what I know. Like, we don't want that. We want to have.
Babies dying, period, I guess is my point. I would wanna
Babies will die less. There's more violence if we punish, because if we respond with love, then the person's not going to kill their baby next time, and the person's not going to shoot up the school next time, because they know that they're not going to have their face plastered on the news and have a public shaming show in the courtroom. They know that they're going to be loved by everyone, and they're going to be accompanied and supported and say, of course you did this. There's so much violence in our history, but we can heal and we can move forward and make it better. But we don't break the chains of violence by punishing. Casey Anthony is going to keep doing it, and she's not going to learn anything because we didn't do rift. No, jail doesn't make us learn. Rift resolution does. So imagine if she acknowledged everyone who was. I mourned for that little girl. That hurt me. So if she had to face, I'm sure it impacted you too. If she had to face everyone who's literally crying about this little girl who they've never met, she's going to feel that. And I want us to feel. I don't want us to get punished. I want us to mourn our actions and feel what we've done, because in feeling that pain, it's healthy shame, because it's shame because we wish we did it different. It's not shame because we're getting punished and now we're in trouble. It's shame because we know that we're not going to get punished. We know we're lovable no matter what, and we still hurt that person. And now next time we want to do it better, because look at how loving everyone else is. And I'm going to tell you right now, Steve, you've been someone who showed me compassion, and there was times when I enemy imaged you, and for the most part, people have been pretty compassionate to me when I've made a mistake or attacked them or been hurtful. And it's because of that compassion when I make a mistake, like my friend Dan, who wouldn't be my friend anymore and told me, look, I can't be alone with you because you're going to scream at me. And I've told you, you can't scream in my face. So now you keep screaming in my face. I'm not going to be alone with you because I can't trust you. I'm only going to hang out with you in public. That happened to me years ago. And that to this day, I feel tender. That breaks my heart that I lost that friend. But the way he said it to me was so loving. I have never screamed in anyone's face ever since. That was years ago. And it's because he was so loving to me. Does it mean that he's going to continue allowing me to do that behavior? No. He's not going to be available. So it doesn't mean we're going to let Casey Anthony, if she has a baby, like we're going to be watching her and offering her a lot of support and let her know she doesn't have to like do it on her own, because the only reason she hurt that baby is because in some way she thinks she's got to do it on her own. Let me tell you something. At the root of murder is the question, what else is there to do? At the root of suicide is the question, what is it all worth anyway? And I'll give you the answer. At the root of murder, the answer is we can work it out together. There is a way forward with rift resolution and restoration for all. This is not the only way. And that's the answer to that question. And the answer to suicide, which is what's it all worth anyway, the answer to that is your meaning and purpose is what makes it worth it. And of course, you want to take yourself out or take this other person out. The taking someone else out comes from separation, believing that we're alone and there's no other way. When we kill ourselves, we feel like what we do doesn't make a difference anyway, and that we're not bringing positive change in the world. And those are lies. When we believe in punishment, we're saying that that person doesn't have a meaning and purpose. We're saying that that person can't do better and can't find another way. And that's not true. Those are lies.
Asking in chat if you've murdered someone, but I don't think you have, right?
I have murdered bugs,
Okay,
and
well,
I murdered a mouse on a glue trap once, and I feel a lot of shame and sadness, and I mourn my actions when I've hurt animals. And I am in living amends with those animals. Like there was two bugs that I would have killed, and I let both of them live.
your rat trap video where you got the rat trapped and you edited it and you're like, today, now it's the next day. That was my favorite video. Oh, you have it on TikTok still, but you delete. I don't know. You took it off of YouTube, but I wanted to leave a comment being like, this is my favorite video. You should do more edited videos like that. Like, um,
TikTok lets you post 10-minute videos and you can stop and start it.
okay, okay. No, I really like that. Just because like the
Rat traps in Santa Monica. I'm keep myself busy throwing those things away.
I don't know how the city feels about that,
All traps. I don't know. They might be at, who knows why they're going to be at my court date next week, so I'll talk to them about it.
but
I hope they
Friday
saw my
or not
rat
Friday,
trap
today's
video.
Friday. Wednesday is the next court date, right?
Yeah.
Wednesday, okay. Um, I did have. What was my other question I was just gonna ask? Shit, it was in my head and it's gone now. I'm trying to see if there's anything. Some people, yeah, I was gonna skip that one. I mean, some people say you don't show any remorse for like the situation with your kids. I don't know about that. I think
See why they think that because I speak about it and I normalize it. However, it doesn't that's not because I don't feel remorse. I feel a lot of remorse. The reason why you don't hear the pain coming up all the time, because my pain does come up, it doesn't come up all the time because I've mourned those actions and I acknowledge them. And my goal is to, in acknowledging my actions, neutralize any type of charge or any story people will have that enemy images the behaviors that I did, because I don't want anyone who does what I used to do to feel shame about what they do. And I don't want people who look at people like me who make mistakes, I don't want them to enemy image or try to make them feel shame either, because that's not how we get creative and conscious. So I try to normalize my actions, kind of like when you go into a recovery room, you'll hear drunkalogs and they'll talk about like what they used to do and they wake up in blackouts and the problems in relationships. And when you go in a room of recovery, you'll hear the stories and it's like, whoa, well, that's not meant to brag about. Yeah, it's not meant to brag about it, but it's very powerful to everyone in the room listening who's also working on that. And there's people in all different stages. So the old timer who's sharing will be sharing about some behaviors. They may not do those behaviors anymore, but somebody else in the room does. So it's really beneficial for them to hear from someone who doesn't do that anymore. And then it will give them, it's called experience, strength, and hope. And you go to the rooms of recovery to hear about what other people have overcome, to get experience, strength, and hope from their story. So when I share about what I've done, it's not that I don't feel remorse, it's that I want to neutralize any charge so that we can look at my behaviors as target behaviors that all of us have collectively. And I know that some of you are like, well, I don't do that. I don't hit, or I don't, like, I've never choked my cat. I've never done that. Okay. But maybe you didn't do exactly what this person did, but you could take it a step out and say, okay, well, this is violence, this is this type of violence, is verbal abuse, or this. We can always find the way that we also do whatever we perceive in someone else. Might not be exactly what they're doing. So
I can see the benefit in
Shift in the
truthful,
cultural narrative.
like, to be truthful with yourself, I can see, like, having to normalize traumatic experiences. Maybe not normalize it, but just so you can, if other people have experienced the same thing, it's easier to kind of like be real with yourself and actually like it's a interrogation technique as well. Like a police officer will kind of be like, "Hey, I know where you're coming from. I would have done the same thing if I was in your shoes," and they'll be like, "Yeah, I did this." But to like a public audience who has maybe never experienced something like that, to try to normalize something so serious and like traumatic, it can be seen as like not showing remorse, and it can be seen as like
In domination systems, we want people to feel shame and be punished and suffer for what they've done. But we don't want that. Like what you said about the cop, the police officer giving somebody empathy, but their goal is to then turn on them and use it against them. That's not empathy. That doesn't heal. But
the
in the
interrogation.
moment, when the police officer is giving them acknowledgement and understanding and empathy, the person will be honest because they feel safe, and that safety then being violated by punishing that person, that hurts all of us. That doesn't help us. And what we need to do is to get the person talking. They never would have been doing what they're doing if someone had got them talking in the first place. I would not have been doing to my kids what I was doing to my kids if I was receiving the help that I'm receiving now. And I wanted to receive this help. And I was a very rich woman. I had resources to go to a fancy treatment center. And for whatever reason, it was like really hard for me to get into a treatment center. And I had kids. And it was just like, I remember feeling so alone. And I really wanted to get help. And it's not fair how the help came. It's not fair that my kids had to go through what they went through just because I needed to get help. The behavior, you meet the need. So you don't say, well, you didn't do it. And so now you're going to get punished. No, we don't want to shame people and talk about the past and what they should have done. What we want to do, because that doesn't help. We need to ask if we want to be geniuses, we want to get in touch with what is healthy shame and what is unhealthy shame. Healthy shame, we are mourning our actions and using our tribe to, because we can't do it on our own, but we're using others to talk about what will be better. That's healthy shame, mourning our actions and having others mourn our actions and love us up. And we love ourselves up while we're feeling like this. But unhealthy shame is our actions make us turn on ourselves and others turn on us. And all of a sudden, we are not worthy of kindness and our needs don't matter. And we don't get to have care and love because now we need to be punished. And that goes against the wisdom of our system that says that we need unconditional positive regard and love in order to thrive, and that includes when we've made a mistake and need to heal. So instead, we can shame and punish and force. That works, but at a great cost, and everyone pays the cost. If we use healing and integration, it is a different approach and it takes less time than punishment. It seems like it takes longer because with punishment, you could just quickly take the kids away and put the parent in jail, and it looks like you just fixed it right away, but you just made it worse. Healing and integration is quicker than punishment. It took me a lot longer to heal getting ridden hard through the court systems than if I just got love and care and resources.
Yeah, I guess it's like if the person's not willing to seek out the help, I don't know how you would coerce them into it without there being some kind of intervention.
I have a good example. We were talking about Cleveland housewife and goddess Diana.
Or
So let's say verbal abuse is against the law, and goddess Diana and Cleveland housewife send me and my friends messages and they're verbally abusing me. So I
It
call so I call the police and they both go to jail. And now they get out of jail a year later and they will never talk bad about me again because they're terrified because they went to jail for verbally abusing me, right? So did they learn not to verbally abuse because now they're never going to do it again because they got punished? Okay, now let me offer you something else. Cleveland housewife and goddess Diana verbally abused me. The whole entire time, before, after, and during, I only refer to them as goddess. It is authentic and true, and they can tell in my voice that I am impacted by what they're saying and it hurts me. And I still love them and I still care and I still want to way forward. I give them multiple opportunities to relate to me in more healthy ways. I tell them I love them no matter what and that they don't have to change if they don't want. They don't have to give me the respect and kindness I'm asking for, that if their only way is to verbally abuse, that's the stage that they're in, that I honor their stage, but I'm not available. And do you see the difference where instead of telling on them and enemy imaging them and attacking them, I am loving them. Even now, I feel tenderness and love. What I think about when I think of Cleveland housewife is she's like this amazing, gorgeous, vivacious goddess with incredible hair and big, beautiful eyes. And she's got like this adorable personality, and all the animals and plants love her. And she's got this amazing capability of like nurturing and giving life. I can only think about positive things. I don't think about how she's spewing insults and spraying poison at me. It's like, no, I know she's hurting. I know that she's trying to find a better way. I know that was done to her. If I punish her and hurt her, then she's not going to learn. Now, maybe a year or two later, Goddess Diana and Cleveland Housewife, they may message me and they may say, like, hey, my relationships have really changed since you and I last talked. And it's funny, gradually, more and more, my relationships have been getting healthier and I no longer verbally abuse people. What you said to me really helped me. And when you were not available for me to verbally abuse you, it hurt me. And I was so angry at the time because I felt like you were outcasting me and abandoning me. But I can see now that you were just past your capacity. And because you've been consistent and are still there for me to reach out to, I told them they could still reach out to me anytime they want to have this loving, healthy friendship with me, that I'm not going to be cussed at and abused. But when they want to come back, I'm here. That they're more likely to heal, and it's going to be lasting. Now they've had a change of heart. Now they're going to treat me a certain way. I'm going to get respect and love and compassion. It's not because they're scared of me. It's because they care about me.
I really need to pee. I'm sorry. You can keep talking to them because yeah, they do like the Cleveland stuff.
I need like a break, like a year, because that was a lot. I mean, I didn't even there was like a lot of like verbal abuse.
Do you
I tried a long time with them, so
I'm gonna also be able to hear. I'll be like 2 seconds. I'm just gonna mute so you can't hear me.
okay.
But
I'll make
okay,
myself a coffee. It's good
okay,
to
okay,
connect with you.
that works. People want to know what's going on with Bruce. Where's Bruce at?
A super duper Brewster hero. He's doing good. Yeah, Bruce and I have grown a little apart. He's still part of the tribe. I want you guys to think about how lovable you are and know that you're a doobadoodle and you have feelings and needs. And we have struggles and celebrations, and our struggles and celebrations are better when we are together. And a doobadoodle dooba blue blue. Uh-huh. There's something I wanted to say to you guys. Why does everyone have a crush on Steve Delive? Steve Delive is very popular with the ladies. Did you guys know that? Yes. A lot of my girlfriends like Steve Delive. He's a very, very charming and popular. You want to know what feels good? When we think about how lovable everyone is. You could think about what someone did or what they said. And if you think about how mean they are or how bad they are, or if you think about what a liability someone is and how much damage they create, then you might get upset. I was telling them to think about how lovable they are and think about how lovable everyone is. And then I was warning them that if instead they think about what's wrong with someone, that they might not feel lovey-dovey. Look at this coffee machine. So this is Big Ben's coffee machine.
Whole thing or the what's the thing beside the coffee grinder?
Coffee pods, and you put them in here. And this thing right here steams the milk. It like foams it up. Look at that cappuccino. Isn't that pretty? I know, it's really fancy.
It's so good. He's just kind of like in the background a bit more these days.
Bruce and I are good. I'm sticking with the women and not like that whole thing with sweet, sweet. I think I was lying to myself, thinking that it was okay to let guys do stuff for me. And it's easy to just get guys to do stuff for me. And I decided I want to stick with the women more. And it's working out for me. You could see I'm hanging out with people like Mary and my everyone in my circles, with the exception of Big Ben, is a woman. And even with like Big Ben, I don't want him to meet my needs. I want to meet my needs. I even told him that I want to be non-attached. Like I don't want to be in any relationship. I don't want to have any commitments. And so Big Ben knows
Think of that. Is he cool with that or?
me that if I am with anyone else, he wants to know about it. And I told him that my number one goal is ascension. And I'm working on myself right now. And that's what I care about. That I don't. And I also told him that I want to have a baby, at, not with him.
Oh,
I told him I'm having a baby and that if he wants to be the donor, great, but that I'm having a baby on my own and I'm going to be finding caregivers who want to raise that child with me so that I raise it not with like a nuclear family, but with an abundance of caregivers. And so, you know how you can have like a donor contract with someone? I'm going to have parenting contracts with a whole bunch of people. So just like you can have like parental rights or parental agreement, even though it won't be like admissible in court or anything. I just figured it would just be cool to have those types of agreements and commitments. And Miki Kashtan, one of my teachers, encourages, she calls it pod living, where you have a whole bunch of humans you do life with. And someone in our group did the same thing. She got pregnant and asked like 12 people to parent the child. So,
X-Men. You know how they live in that school at X-Men, and then the I don't know the well-known X-Men.
yeah, they call it Daisy's He Hive.
That wait, the He Hive? We're calling it the He Hive. The He Hive is gonna look after the kids.
The He Hive is the males,
He Hive
and the Goddess Squad is the girls.
squad is the girls. Okay.
Yeah, I call the He Hive. That's what I call the males because um, they go in a different category of the goddesses. hmm The He Hive means those are the men that I'm interested in. And I'm too boy crazy and my eye wanders and I'm not like you know how some people are born gay and they just know that they're gay? Like I know that I am my eye wanders and monogamy hurts me. So I can't help how I'm born.
Why does monogamy hurt you though?
Big Ben, I would be exclusive with him for a month. And I started to watch another version of me come out, and I didn't like it. I don't like it. I don't like having those kinds of commitments.
Is it like does it bring out jealousy?
Oh, I'm not jealous at all. I have a really healthy reaction when my partner's with other women. And if my partner's not with other women, then I feel like it's emasculating.
Nisha with the hair that you hate.
Oh, no, no. She has the fluffiest hair ever.
I thought you hated her.
No, I love her. I was just kidding. I don't get jealous of her.
The dominatrix though. You didn't on your birthday.
I got pissed at her because that was just because all good lied to me, though.
But if he was truthful about that, like you wouldn't have cared.
The reason I was upset is because I want to go hang out and have fun and be a part of be a part of the tribe. And on my birthday, instead of being invited, they're like going out to dinner and having a good time. And I don't understand why I can't go because I don't get jealous. And instead of telling me what he was doing, he chose not to tell me anything, which means on my birthday, I was just waiting for him to get back. And I'm pretty popular, so there's no reason for me to be alone on my birthday unless someone doesn't share information with me.
I don't know because if he was trying to spare your feelings by not telling you on your birthday, like
He knows I like that. That he knows that I like when he dates other women. So I think it was because he told me he didn't want me to date anyone.
so he was probably he knew that you would have hooked up with someone probably if he had told you that he was with someone else.
I knew that he wanted to go out with a woman on my birthday and not take me. I would have gone out with one of my kings and I would have had fun on my birthday. And instead of telling me that, he decided to not tell me anything. And then I just found out. And I like when my guys are with other women, but I don't like when people like lie to me and don't invite me places. And I don't like secrets.
Okay. So monogamy is not like out of jealousy or anything. I thought it might have been that just based off of those experiences, but I guess I kind of understand them a bit more now from that perspective. Um,
Aisha and John had a date at his place, and I made them breakfast in bed, and they laid in bed and snuggled with each other, and I basically was their waitress. Oh,
that's
yeah, I loved it.
interesting. Damn. Um, yeah, I guess I don't know. I'm very monogamous, I guess, so I can't wrap my mind around how it could be detrimental in any way. But different strokes for different folks, you know. Uh,
So much I need to have like I'm happy with Big Ben, and I was thinking about it like I just can't have those agreements, and I'm not acting any different. But before, when I had these agreements with him, I felt like I couldn't do flow strokes with other guys. I couldn't hang out with other guys. And when I go to the beach, I want to be able to like talk to who I want and do what I want and not worry about how someone else is going to feel. And my number one goal is ascension, and I can't have
I
anyone get in
guess
the way of that.
what do we mean by ascension?
Ascension means finding the highest version of myself. And if I'm in a committed monogamous relationship with a person, then I might not fully be able to work on myself because, in response to this other person, if I'm acting differently than I usually would, then that's not good. And I noticed that I was not doing things that made me happy before that I was doing because I was worried how it would make Ben feel. And now one of those things is doing flow strokes with other guys. flow strokes is a partner practice. And I'm not doing it because I want to be romantic. To me, it's like a yoga, acro yoga, kind of like anytime you're doing acrobatics or yoga or any type of aerial arts or partner practice, you're going to be touching each other's bodies, but it's not supposed to be sexual. And I felt like having a partner that I have agreements with makes it so I can't do those things. So now I have no agreements and I can do whatever I want, flirt with whoever I want. I'm non attached and I like it way better like that.
Not like you're going out of your way to try to find like other guys, but it's just like having the peace of mind that if some hunk comes along that you want to flirt with, it's nice knowing that you're not gonna.
And I'm not going to hook up with anyone like I mean, it takes me a while to warm up to someone. If it came to the point where I meet someone and I start to warm up to them, I want to be able to tell Big Ben about that.
How did the Cross thing progress so fast? Because like I feel like I didn't know who the fuck Cross was, and then all of a sudden he was just like there. And I guess like that would be the only I forgot about this. The only other example, I guess, of jealousy that I've seen from you was when I don't know what did you say to his girlfriend? Because you said you blew up at her, and it was part of like a.
I wasn't jealous. She was jealous, and I was telling her not to be jealous and to share.
Okay, so it was like a defensive kind of.
Yeah, I was like telling her that nuclear family is a lie, and I said some mean stuff to her, and it made me feel sad.
Well,
And then I made amends the next day, and Cross is monogamous. My thing is this: I don't really have any interest in men right now. Like I like men, but that's not like my concern. I want to be with my kids. I want to have more kids. My number one concern is global liberation and working on myself, personal development. Men, it's like the last thing I care about right now. And I don't now that my oldest is about to be 17, and now that I'm not ever going to get married again cuz I was just getting married cuz I was trying to see my kids. Women give away all their power when they get with a guy. I will never do that.
I don't think it's supposed to be like that though. If you're with the right person, I think you should both be contributing something to the relationship, especially in 2025. Like I can see definitely back in the day, um, when I guess I don't know, there was less women in certain fields of work, and like it was unheard of in the 90s for I guess women to work in certain fields. But I feel like now, um, it we live in a more open state of the world where I don't think it would be looked down upon if a woman were to have a job and be the main provider. You know what I mean? Um, so I guess it's like yeah, all about finding the right person. Um,
Trying to stay away from nuclear family and focus on my tribe, and men distract from that.
in the 90s, people were like in the 90s. Yeah, I was born in the 90s. I don't know anything before that. Um, let's see if we have any other questions. Oh, how Big Ben reads. I don't know. DJ Darren was in chat. I can't remember why I initially banned DJ Darren. I think he was just
And gets verbally abusive too.
yeah. How are you with DJ Darren? Like, are you guys chill? I think I've seen you guys
Jay Darren has the same thing going on that Cleveland housewife and Goddess Diana have going on. You know?
like he's still
Yeah, everything's fine, and then he'll just be verbally abusive, and I've told him the same thing. I'm not available.
got mad because because he thought that the seven or 7-person orgy was real, or he's like, I found out that it is real. It just didn't happen at John's place or something. But he was fine with everything else about you until he found out that, and then he wasn't invited to it.
First of all, first of all, um, I didn't have 7 kings to sleep with.
I mean, like,
Like, I don't even have that many kings. I was, like, naming past kings that, like, I don't even talk to. That's
I
funny.
mean,
No, I never had a gangbang.
like even if you did, it would be crazy for that to be the reason DJ Darren is so.
I would just tell you guys if I did. It was funny when I was talking about it because it's kind of obvious because I said, like, one guy was, like, fanning me and the other one was feeding me grain.
No,
Obvious.
yeah, yeah, no, it was funny. I've seen this person ask a bunch of time in chat, ask about the second Jeff and about the repayment. So Jeff is going to be repaid with the nonprofit stuff, right?
We're on good terms. His wife text messages me sometimes. Like, I talked to her on Mother's Day. She said Happy Mother's Day. And
Saying,
yeah, one part of my recovery is I like to keep my amends with people and not have any rifts. I don't like to have anything that I have to clean up my side of the street. Make sure that I don't have to, like, I don't want to go through life knowing that I benefited from somebody and they used their resources to help me, and those resources could have helped them. So I don't feel right about taking that money from Jeff and not paying him back.
oh no, that's good. That I mean,
Yeah, so as soon
did
as
you apologize?
the first thing that's going to happen, oh, I mean, we're in communication. The loan was given freely, and I'm going to pay it back. And
100? Um, no, that's good. I don't know. I heard all down the grapevine will say that he was looking for an apology from you. So I don't know, just curious if you guys ever had that conversation. Yeah.
I wonder why he wants an apology. Because I used him or because I borrowed the money? Because I did a lot that he probably wants an apology for.
I said if you guys were in communication, I don't know if you.
I think he knows that it was like a perfect storm of, like, I'm like a sugar baby in recovery, and all of a sudden this guy, I mean, I was not going to hook up with him, but yeah, I mean, it was just like this perfect storm. I think he really was hoping that I would date him or like him, and I should not have accepted gifts. And he was offering me all these gifts that I shouldn't have accepted. So I could apologize for that. I do feel bad about that. And as I said, I'm in living amends. I like to think about what I would like in the future. And not only do I want to pay Jeff back, but in the future, which is what I'm doing now, I don't want to use any guy. And now, when guys try to do everything for me, I don't just take from them.
Well, that's good. Um, yeah, I guess I could see it. Maybe he thought. I don't know why he would think that. I think he was trying to help out, right? But
Said so many times. Yeah. I mean, he's with a woman now who he's apparently very happy with. So I think that we're all walking each other home, and everyone we meet is perfect for our stage of learning and growth, and we can either get better or get worse.
it says Joseph says hello. I don't know who Joseph is. Do you know who Joseph is?
Hmm? Ask her if she means Joseph Schimmel.
I think you hear about that. I don't know who's Joseph Schimmel to you. I
Joseph Schimmel is a man that I was with for 5 years.
really no kids though or anything. Just like
No kids.
no kids. Okay. Was I say
Yeah.
Darren's a bad guy.
Da- So, well,
That's what it
remember how I told you I responded to Diana and Cleveland Housewife?
yeah.
That I'm working on the same things he's working on, to not be verbally abusive, not yell at people. I know what it's like to do that, and I don't want to do that anymore either. And just like other people help me by not being available, I need to not be available. Joseph Schimmel is a raging monogamist in a good way. He likes monogamy. I was with him. I was with him for 5 years, and we had an open relationship for most of it, even though I was not really dating anyone else until the end. And he got a girlfriend.
Oh,
Mhm.
that's not good.
Yeah, and that, like, he didn't want to talk to me anymore after that.
You've seen that there's like a Facebook profile that I don't know if they're still active now, but I remember I think it was last year. They were like posting stuff about you being like, I'm getting her off the street off of meth and she's staying at my house here, but you clearly weren't. And I was like, this is like some fucking weird stalker shit. Is that Joe Schimmel or is that like some completely different
I don't
person?
know who that is.
I'll send you the profile. It's really weird. It's like I don't know what the fuck is happening there. Um, I can't even remember his name off the top of my head. It started with a J though, and I was like, maybe that's that guy from back in the day. Um, I don't know. You've met some interesting
People
people.
people know that I wouldn't go. People know that I wouldn't go stay with someone because that could, I mean, if you're a woman staying at the beach, you get offered places to stay all the time. I'm staying at the beach because I want to stay at the beach.
To this guy either, but he didn't seem like he had like a lot of money or resources, like compared to Jeff, who 30 grand. You know what I mean? Like you have better options as well. So I was like, I don't know what the fuck this guy's talking about, but it's interesting. He was trying to pose as like your savior or something on Facebook. It was weird. Um, let's see. Ask her about Lily. Oh, I forgot about Lily. You still talk to Lily?
Uh huh. Yeah, I've been in Venice a lot, and I haven't been live streaming, but all of the regulars are back. Reverend White and everyone. We had a one of the homies die
Oh.
recently. Uh huh. This
Was
guy,
Toby?
yeah, Toby, and Diablo is one of the other homies. And there's a lot of videos of both of them. They're on the internet a lot, so I could point them out. That was pretty devastating.
Over a lighter, right? You were saying? Yeah, that's crazy.
What happens with homeless people is their stuff gets thrown away. Toby's stuff got thrown away twice, like in the 2 weeks before. So it wasn't the lighter. It's like his stuff kept getting thrown away. His car was impounded. He kept getting arrested. And then now they got his lighter too. So that was just the end for him. And then he kept attacking Diablo. And then Diablo had him in a chokehold just a little bit too long. And then there was an opportunity to save Toby's life because Toby was on his hands and knees grunting. And instead of checking to see if Toby was okay, the sanitation team started to come. It was like 3 in the morning. And instead of dealing with Toby, now everyone's got to move everything. So instead of checking on Toby, everyone's moving the tent and moving all the stuff. And by the time they get back, Toby's face is in the sand and they turned him over and he was dead. And when somebody dies, it doesn't matter what face they're making. You could just tell there's something different.
Right. I was gonna say, was
Like,
he making a funny face? But
oh, I'm just letting you know when someone's dead, like it doesn't matter what expression they're like, you could just tell.
tell that they're
You could just tell, like something not there. And even at that point, I feel like someone could have given him CPR because like 15 minutes is kind of a long time, but I just felt like no one gave him CPR.
A lot more context than I guess what was said in Gary's interview because it made it sound like Diablo was just a crazy person who murdered Toby, and you were like, "But we need to meet him with love and affection, so he shouldn't be in jail." And I was like, "Diablo is gonna end up going to jail, and Daisy's gonna get."
Diablo, so everyone tells me everything. I talked to everyone who was there, and I talked to the police, and the police told me they arrested him and released him.
Well, it sounds like it was self defense, and it wasn't like he. It doesn't sound like he was trying to kill him. Just like stop attacking me over the stupid fucking lighter. And if he was grunting and stuff, I would think I don't know. That's just really unfortunate. And
It's really important for us to know because I didn't know that you could put pressure on someone's neck and then they could die after. And even though he was conscious, I just figured like they would catch their breath.
because the pressure's released, it must have like I don't know. His throat must have like collapsed or something. Like he must have like really had him in a choke.
After 9 seconds of not having oxygen, then you can die and not come back. I didn't know that.
Seconds, but we can hold our breath for 9 seconds.
There's something about being choked.
I don't know that.
Yeah, I don't know what it is about being choked, but also when you hold your breath, you're calm
Mhm.
and your
Well,
blood
and you're
is,
taking oxygen.
yeah. And when someone's choking you, you're panicking.
Yeah. Well, I do know that some people like get off on that stuff too. Like they'll just choke themselves on purpose. People have died from that, like trying to get off, which is weird. But I know it's 9 seconds. Is all. That's pretty crazy. What did? Oh, never mind.
A really good story though to use as an example of like chain reactions because if you look at the timeline of stuff that happened, the way that the enforcers responded to Toby and Diablo, if either Diablo or Toby was responded to with compassion and resources instead of punishment and more trauma, then there would have been a different outcome. Because if if they were getting resources and compassion, they wouldn't have been angry and they wouldn't have been fighting.
I do see what you mean about like the system being broken and not really like all the things that happened to Toby kind of snowballed into that incident, right? So if he was actually
Diablo.
well, I don't know about Diablo, but yeah, yeah, like if they both weren't on the street, if they like you said, even as car impounded and stuff, there should be better options, I guess. So if things don't continue to escalate, like they should be trying to, I don't know, actually help people. I can agree with that. I don't know what I said. People keep asking about the housing. So she has housing. She has $56 a month, right?
And actually, it's a really good segue because we're talking about scarcity and meeting needs. I'm a really good example. Imagine if Toby and Diablo got what I got. So instead of getting arrested and having their car impounded, imagine if Toby and Diablo got housing and therapy. Because I've noticed with myself, I'm way more calm than when I was living outside. When I was living at the beach, I was not able to get good sleep. I was not able to relax. I was not able to feel secure or have a sense of stability. And many of my needs were not met. I couldn't accumulate supplies I needed. There's so many stresses into being homeless. Now that I'm housed and my life is getting back together, I notice like not only is my sleep better, my mood is better, my outbursts are not getting, they're not as bad. I'm a lot calmer. Being being surrounded by resources and care. I mean, I don't know why like we wouldn't just do that. Like, why would we still think punishment works after we've seen how well the other way works? But I'm a good example, don't you think?
There was a time though when I don't know how long it took to get into this housing, but I think I might be wrong, but I think I remember you being opposed to it for a while, right? Like you wanted to be on the beach. You liked it better on the beach for a while. Am I mistaken? Or
Called it wanting to feel the pinch of the market economy, and
I
and
don't remember that
also,
phrase, but okay.
yeah, I wanted to feel the pinch of the market economy, and I wanted to be at the beach because I wanted to have a temple and learn what it's like to not have any type of like living in the system. And that just got to be too much, moving my stuff every day.
I don't think it's a good place. Maybe it's in a sense sexist, but for a woman to be like just sleeping out on the beach, you know what I mean? It's a good thing you just only had to fight Morgan, I guess, and not more nefarious individuals.
Yeah, I had stuff happen, but the home that's what the homies are there for.
Right. Yeah. Well, like Mary, right? Like just that what happened to Mary was terrible. Right. So, um, yeah, I think everybody should have access to housing. If it's like you said, I didn't know that it was. I know that you could do drugs at this place, and that they would actually kind of work with you if you were willing to help yourself. Kind
Supposed to, but they don't test you. They don't test you.
of okay,
So I assume, people are doing whatever they're doing.
right? Maybe yeah. I would probably, if I were a druggie, just do it outside of the residence as long as I'm getting my shit done. Otherwise, and meeting all my appointments, then um, I don't know. That's good because addiction's hard, man. Like, not everyone can just quit like that. A lot of things you can't just quit like that. Is and you said it's wraparound, so I'm assuming like there's resources available for harm reduction and addiction. So like maybe like a methadone clinic or something for people on opiates. Okay, that's good.
Yes. And you have a caseworker and a life skills worker, and they give you everything. I'm accepting everything they have. They're even going to give me a financial planner. So when my money comes in, someone's going to help me. So all of my bills get paid and the money gets sent to the caregivers, and I'm going to be budgeted, and they help you with basically anything and everything.
Good. Then you don't have to touch the money, like you were saying.
Don't have to touch money, and I like it because it's community support. So then 100% of my focus can be into being a servant. And then when I go to the beach and I'm doing my healing and helping the community or gardening or whatever I'm doing, I don't have to worry about getting paid. I don't have to worry about this person following through with their commitment to me, because it's just about me doing my own service and giving to others, and having full wraparound care also gave me a way to integrate with the system that I was in a lot of resistance to. So that instead of making unilateral decisions and being against market economy and against government, being immersed in wraparound care makes it so I can be in the government and in the market economy, but also in my own world, because I'm working with them so that our worlds can become one. And what I've found is California will let you be whoever you want. If you're honest, tell people how to help you, and you want to help yourself and do better, you will get help in California. It's pretty amazing actually.
It seems to be that way. I follow this other guy. Not for good reasons, because he's evil. He's kind of evil, but he was getting the most help he ever got in California. So just based off of like seeing him bounce around state to state, it seems like that seems to be true. Um, I do need to start wrapping things up. I'm gonna see if like there's any other questions here. I will say though that you're in a way. It looks like you're in a way better place all around than like the last time we spoke. I think it was like almost a year ago. I was outside. You were really all over the place. I feel like we've actually had like a conversation more this time. So I hope, yeah, I hope things keep getting better. I know it's not like an overnight thing either. So if people are hard on you, it's the internet. They're gonna be.
It's understandable. I put all my stuff out there, so.
Yeah, no, exactly. No, I'm proud of you. That's good.
And I don't mind people being hard on me. A lot of my when I said I learned stuff from everyone, when people say stuff that's really critical of me and it's painful to hear, a lot of times it's because there's some truth in it. And I have no problem looking at myself, and if something someone says hurts my feelings, it's probably some truth to it, then I want to look at that and change it. So I don't got to feel bad about it anymore. So I'm fine with the critics. It takes bravery to speak up, and if somebody thinks I'm a liability, feel free to tell me so I could do it better and we could wrap up.
That's a very healthy way to deal with criticism, I think, because it's kind of like you have criticisms of the way the system is set up and everything, and you go out and you voice it. So I think it's good that you can see yourself through that same kind of scope, and understand where people might be coming from.
Yeah, I can't tell everyone else to do better, but then I'm okay and I don't have to change.
No, exactly. No, that's good. That's good. And I'm glad that you're at least willing to listen to, opposing views, and even if we disagree with each other. Um,
We agree, Steve. We agree.
we agree on some things, I think, for sure. I want the best for people. I don't want to see them suffer. I think, yeah, I don't know. I feel bad sometimes just because, like, the form of entertainment I provide can sometimes feel like I feel like I've been hard on you a bit in the past, and on other people. I don't know the guise of entertainment, but it's just like I don't know. I don't even know what I'm trying to say here. I guess.
I think that you want to expose a certain type of behavior that presents a liability to the rest of us, and that you notice, like, yeah, I think that troll, you could call it internet trolling, whatever you want to call it. I think that it has its benefits also.
I would hope that I'm a little bit better than a troll. I think like I really want to just understand kind of.
I wouldn't be talking to you if I thought you were just a troll. I'm talking to you about that part.
Okay, sure, sure.
Otherwise we're not being real if we only talk about the good stuff. And and if you're feeling outrage or bewilderment because of someone's actions, probably a lot of other people are feeling that way also. So you're creating a space of shared reality for people to be able to vent, wallow, process in whatever way they need to.
Yeah, no, this is. I'm glad that you can see it like that. There's like it's so refreshing actually because I've been dealing with a lot of Cleveland's criticism, which you're familiar with, and that's just like psychotic. Like she is fucking psychotic. So it's just very refreshing to have
Mary and I were scared to
recently.
talk about you to her.
Wait, what?
Mary and I were both scared to talk about you to her.
Oh god.
Like we couldn't even bring you up.
You know that she would say that about you. She's like, Daisy hates you. She brings you up. She's like, rah, rah, rah.
No, I've never said anything bad about you.
Even if
Except I think I made like a video where me and Mesmeralda sang a song about you, asking you to be more kind. But no, I don't have anything against you.
that was like I think the first time you ever heard of me too.
Jennifer Nana was putting words in my mouth, um, and then she would ban you. You would come on my page, and then she would tell me she banned all your accounts, and I was kind of like, well, everyone can just create a new account if they want to come back. Because, like, I didn't really want everyone to be getting banned from my page, um, unless they're really distracting and causing a disturbance. But I don't think you were doing that.
I I can be mischievous, but I don't like spam or like
We like mischievousness.
within reason, right? So
I don't mind confrontation or blunt comments. Like I said, that takes bravery, and I honor the courage of those who are willing to confront what they don't understand.
ad hominem attacks. I try to not do any ad hominem attacks as well. I think that like Cleveland would be like, actually, I can't even think of an ad hominem attack she's used. Well, no, she does a lot of slurs. She does like the F slur, um, the R slur. She's really mean. I don't know. I've never seen you do that. Actually,
I got rid of that side of me. I used to have a dark side like that.
I think I've seen maybe one time, but I can't even remember. I think you were quoting someone too, but it wasn't.
I don't do that anymore because I don't like the kind of wreckage it creates, and I have other tools that I can use instead. Well, I'm gonna let you go. That was a good live stream.
Yeah, yeah. No, I got to get going. Thanks for coming on, and I will, yeah, keep in touch.
See you. Bye, everyone.
Bye. Take care.